Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to touch it. They haven't got it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and people of all ages, it has come to this point. We are at the penultimate race of the VWSC Virtual World Sportscar Championship 2025, and we've decided to bring you to Road Atlanta for 100 laps of Road Atlanta. It is going to be absolutely mighty. We have 2 hours of Bahrain coming up on the 15th of November, and then that is it. The season is finished. We all get to have a break right the way through till 2026. Calendar on the board. You can see where we've been. Well, you don't need me to tell you where we've been. It's easy there. It is sure you're all capable of reading, but it has been an absolute epic season of racing. Let's catch up with what's going to happen today. Let's bring you up the track itself. Road Atlanta, an absolute mighty circuit. 2.54 miles in length, 4.09 kilometers, and it was built in 1970. Hosts of Petit Le Mans. We've all raced here, we've all commentated here, everybody knows it like the back of their hand, and if you don't, where have you been apart from under a big old rock? So there we go, gonna be absolutely epic. Keys to the race: hold on to tyres. Well, without them, you'll be spinning more times than Bambi on ice. Set up for Sector 3, plan on changing weather, fuel 2 times, GTs will stop 30 to 35 minutes, they will have 2 stops, Hypercars 20 to 24 minutes, they will have 3 to 4 tyres, medium wets for the GTs, medium hards and wets for the Hypercars. Let's start running you through the scores on the doors. Well, there is some things that are taking shape here as well. Strategy corner, apparently. I'm not quite sure when that come back into things, considering I thought them cards stopped. Tyres, medium hards, as you just said on the original keys to the race. 20 to 24 minutes, 3 to 4 stops. Cars to beat, Big Series 963 and 499p. I think there's a mistake, and I'm going to ignore the producer in my ear roll. We're going to start off with the Hypercars. Dan Kirby wrapped it up, ladies and gentlemen. The Hypercar Pros is done and dusted with only 73 points up for grabs over the next 2 races. Dan Kirby cannot be caught. Dan Herlock and Cameron Barker still very close together. Magnus Dahlgren, he needs to have an absolute stormer and take the win in the next 2 to be even able to jump into the championship podium positions. That's the situation in the Hypercars. Team Series is done as well, and you can see CMS Pro Cadillac V Series has taken a victory on 489. They're too far ahead, nothing can happen. Job done, Hypercars finished. Everybody take a break, go home, put your slippers on. In the Hypercar Rams, John Mayer out in front. He has to have an absolute stinker over the next 2 races to lose this championship. I'm pretty sure he won't. So I'm pretty sure we can tie up as John Mayer will be the Hypercar champion. Ikuri Mr. Porsche, well, they've wrapped up the standings as well in the teams. Absolutely stunning job, too far ahead. take a break, have a sit down, go home. So yeah, that's all pretty much done. John Mayer is basically just needs an absolute stinker. In the LMGT Freeze, this is where it's going to get interesting in the pros, ladies and gentlemen. JT Tammy and David Jun, 9 points between them. Now, I heard earlier on, 73 up for grabs. There's 9 points between them. That's still open and still can win. Alan Holden can still hang on to third if James Walker just unfortunately has a rotten one. But James has got a lot of work to do to be able to jump into that top three. Not going to be possible, I don't think. He may surprise me. Who knows? In the team, Start Thunder Racing, well, they've wrapped it up as well. So that's job done in the LMGT Freeze as his standings for the teams. Alexander McQuarrie, 271. Peter Meyer, 232. Tied with Adam Gray. Do we think it's wrapped up? It should be. But it depends on what McQuarrie does. He has to finish lower than 6th, we believe, in the last 2 races to absolutely lose this. If he does, I will be shocked. In fact, I will eat my hat. I don't think it's going to happen. Peter Meyer and Adam Gray still fighting out with Stephen Miller. Stephen needs to beat both of them on the racetrack to be able to take that second and third away. Again, very, very difficult. Very, very difficult indeed. But we will find out how they get on. Hello to everybody in YouTube chat. Thank you so much for joining us as well. I'm JP. We're going to be joined in the booth with Jim Cunningham, and Mr. Ross Smith is also going to come along for the ride. And of course, as per normal, we've got Mr. Paul Glover in our ear. We will forgive him for the mistake earlier on. I promise he will still have a job in the morning. But let's find out what's going to happen here as well. Let's start off with Jim. Jim, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Good to be here. Getting to do the modern cars again. It's been a while. I think I did the first or second race of the season, and now I'm back here for the ending. Yeah, excited to be here. Love Road Atlanta. Love the modern sports cars. It should be a blast.
Absolutely. Let's bring in Mr. Ross Smith. Ross, how are you, dear sir? Are you looking forward to this one?
James, this is going to be a fantastic race. If anything is to go by from watching the race Thursday night at the sister series of NARS for the VMSC, it's going to be an absolute banger. Going into the night, we're going to see the drivers really pushing hard early on. There are probably going to be some exciting moments. If you watch the real Road Atlanta, the Petit Le Mans, there are just some incredible upsets, even on the first lap, right down to the S's as everyone was bunched together. I expect much of the same today, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, it definitely is. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be absolutely mighty. We've got certain sectors on the track, as you saw earlier on as well. Orange zone, as per normal, we all know what it is. You basically, of course, any problems throughout there, you are going to be in trouble. That results onto lap 1. The S's is any part during the race. If you have an incident from turn 3 down the hill into 5, during that period, in that section, no matter what lap it is, you are going to be in trouble. George is going to get the whip out. Whoopah! And literally make sure that you realise not to do it again. Ross, they've got to be careful in the S's, haven't they?
Yeah, and I think anyone who's been around here, especially with any of the CMS series that runs, they know. And even if you're not in CMS, if you're familiar with Road Atlanta in any way, you understand that is such a difficult place to force any kind of move. It's such a technical section that your car is right at the limit. Everyone's pushing through. You're bouncing off curbs. You're left and right, especially as the tires start to wear down. Everyone's right on the limit. Look for drivers to be going off probably at the top of the hill. Some of the hypercars are certainly going to be trying to get their noses in just before that right-hand turn in, right around where that turn 3 is, turn 4 section, I should say. And it's so difficult, and you're going to be chasing it. GTs are going to be getting upset as hypercars force their way through. Hypercars are going to be upset because then they have to slow way down as they stroll down the hill and they see their competition just fading off into the distance. And then watch for turn 5, because that's going to be another problem zone as drivers try and get on the throttle. They're going to be coming up the hill. Right sides are going to be loaded. They're going to hit that curb. And if their car is too unsettled, if they can't get the grip, they're going to loop right around, and you're right in a blind spot. We saw it 2 years ago with Acura, as I think it was Taylor he hit a car that was stationary on the track and just totally blew the car apart. So we're going to see probably quite a few of those incidents today too. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, turn 5 is going to be the I think could possibly be a hot spot. That outside curb, the way we put it is basically take all of it or leave it alone. Do not go and half-heart that curb, because you will be in trouble. And I can guarantee somebody somewhere on this racetrack is going to have a drama. One of the things I am interested, though, Jim, as well, the laps are going to go by thick and fast here, because they're not going to be very, very long on this racetrack. So a minute 13, give or take, I think there's in and around the times. How are they going to cope with the pressure? 100 laps is going to go by quite quickly. They haven't got long, and they've got cars all involved in the situation as well with the mix of classes. How are the drivers going to cope?
Well, one of the big problems here is you don't get a big rest. There's, even the time down the back straightaway is not very long to rest here. You're constantly on the edge with your car here, and during that back straightaway period, that's when, there's going to be a lot of passing going on through there. So as a hypercar, you got to be aware and try to make your moves there. And the GT3s, they've got to be on high alert for these hypercars come flying around them. And, especially if they've been on the hypercar's been stuck behind the GT3 for a little bit, they're really going to press there. So it's really no time to rest, and it's gonna wear on the drivers for 100 laps. That's that gets a little mental after a while.
Ross, how did we talk about the drivers, right? And we regularly hear between hypercars and GT3s, it's the GT3 fault, it's the hypercar's fault, it could be Santa's fault for all we know, but they never ever take responsibility for their own action. One of the things that I sit back and generally say is it takes two to tango, right? If the GT3's there and he knows the hypercar's coming, this is where I end up getting myself in trouble. Pay attention to what you're doing at the end of the day. How are GT3 drivers going to not blame the hypercars if they have a crash?
Well, I mean, it's a story as old as time, It's I think you probably have a better chance of solving peace in the Middle East than, winning blame for a collision between a GT and a hypercar. But, it's a track where it's give and take, and every situation is going to be different. It just depends on what's going on around the drivers, who it is. You just have to keep your eyes up, keep looking out. And the drivers at this point in the season, they know who they're racing around for the most part. We do have some new ones today. I think Jazz actually is a new one who's come in. He's had some fun Thursday night getting his feet wet. So it's great to see him joining late in the season. Hopefully he'll be around for next year too. But I think today Jim's got the right of it. I mean, looking after tires is probably going to be maybe even more important than checking out who's around you. Both are probably going to be equal, to be honest, in terms of just managing your race. Because as we saw, again, I can keep going back to the NARS race, a lot of drivers, the issues they had were mostly just of their own creation. So it's really looking after the car, making sure that you're not getting caught up in somebody else's mess, and just managing your resources.
Yeah, absolutely. There is Maximilian Petravki as well. He's back. I can't see him. I don't think he's been here before either throughout the season. I can't find him on the standings, so that's going to be an interesting one once more. We are into warm-up, guys. We will bring you up some of the action, see how some of these drivers are getting on during this warm-up period. I promise you we won't leave you staring at the map all the way through this until we get to the grid. We will bring some track action just to let you know and show you what's been going on throughout this as well. I think, Jim, this is going to go two ways. We're either going to have an absolute banger of a race that's going to go down to the last 5 laps, or we're going to have complete and utter chaos, and there's going to be a lot of drivers sitting in pit lane.
I can't disagree with it going either way. It could absolutely go both ways. Again, I think a lot of it is going to be determined, honestly, by the GT3 drivers. To follow up on what I had said a minute ago, I think when most incidents at a track like this occur when a GT3 driver does not have the confidence to stay on line. The more confident GT3 drivers, they're going to hold their line, and the hypercars are going to go around them. But you get the guys that are a little less confident, maybe not quite as quick. They try to move out of the way. They think they're doing everybody a favor, but they're really not. That's literally the worst thing you can do. And if you see a lot of drama caused by the GT3 drivers that try to get out of the way and think that they're doing a good thing, and then ultimately it ends up causing a big wreck,
So are we literally pinning this on GT3s? I feel that's a little bit harsh.
No. I'm saying that a lot of the incidents occur that way. Again, the GT3 drivers think they're doing something good, but the hypercar drivers really don't want you to move. They want you to stay on your line and they'll pass you. But it's hard. I mean, you've seen me race. You've called me out on numerous broadcasts. I was one of those drivers. No, I mean, it's true.
Poor
I mean,
Jim.
that's how I ended up here.
What a surprise.
Yeah, so I sucked at driving so bad I got hired as a commentator. But no, seriously, I was one of those guys that I thought getting out of the way was the right thing to do, and you end up moving right into the path of where the driver was going. They're using you for a slipstream until they get right to your bumper, then they're going to go around you, and you move out of the way, thinking you're helping, and you're just not. That's a fact of life.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, guys. Let's see if we can pick up with a car on track and see if we can go on a quick lap while they're on the warm-up. We'll see what they're sort of going to get on with here as well. So basically, to be able to bring you through this circuit, it is mighty. If you have driven here before, you'll know all about it. If you haven't, well, you're just about to have a very steep learning curve very, very quickly. We're on the run down into turn 10A and B. Why can't they just go 10 and 11?
Because we're American, and that's what we do.
I know. So awkward. On board with one of the 9X8s here as well. I think it's Johnny Gutierrez we're on board with. Running down the hill. This is where it's all going to possibly... Oh, God. Just us to pick the only driver that goes in the pit lane. Oh.
Doing the pit.
We always pick somebody going into the pits, don't we?
So to answer your question about 10A and 10B, though, the real truth is what happened there was, as the cars got faster through the years, they started having some pretty big incidents coming at the end of that long straightaway. So they put that an extra. It was just a little kink curve through there back in like the 70s. But then they put the chicane in there, so they just changed it because it was already turn 10, and the next turn was already 11. So they just made it 10A and 10B when they put the chicane in to slow the cars down, because they were getting so fast that they were literally flying over under the bridge. They were flying off the ground, taking off. So that's why they put the chicane in.
They could have just bumped the numbers forward, or just not put 7, 8 and 9 in there and include 2 little kinks, but we're going to number them anyway.
They wanted to make sure that they troubled you.
Well, or did somebody actually just take their shoes and socks off and then realise they've run out of fingers to get past 10?
Well, I'm not going to say anything, but it is Georgia, so that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Riggs, I still think mixing hypercars with GT3s is a horrible idea in general. I know it's like that in real life, says Mr. Reed as well. And then he comes up with a very interesting comment as well, which I really do love. I just realised the track outline almost looks like a chicken wing. Well,
no, it's like a cowboy steak.
Well,
the cowboy cut with the bone on the end. Yeah.
No, well, I'm not a cowboy, so I'm going to take your word for it there as well, because obviously, whatever. That's probably an American cut of steak. If I'm being honest, we're pretty. We don't have the big eaters. Our steaks don't look like that. I can tell you that much as well here. So yeah, very interesting indeed. Thank you very much, Jim, for that insight in filling me in on what a steak looks like in America here as well. We're on the nose currently as we head down of John Newman, head down into that 10A and 10B section, and this is where we're talking about at the moment. They're still going to be able to rise over this hill if they get this wrong. I did a race on Thursday and I saw GT3s lifting up, and it was not good. Through the right hander they go. Now this is where we're going to really kick into this going into turn 1. It's going to be right hander hugging, trying to get a bit of a better line than that through there, pointing at a tree because you don't actually see the curb at all. Through the right hander we go, over the curb. Now we're going to hug the curb on the inside. We're going to let the car drift out a little bit, pull it back in, round the right, round the left. We can get a little bit oh, hold on, we've jumped all the way forward here as well, and now somewhere else on the racetrack on the run down into turn number 6. So there we go, back in the pits. I don't even know what's going on.
there's the ambulance.
Ross, help me out, what's happening?
Well, it looks like drivers are just trying to get their last-minute jitters out, just trying to push the cars, especially on full fuel coming off the qualifying run now that they have a little bit more of a freelance here on track. On board with Dan Kirby, it looks like, who's running around. I believe that's on the Cadillac, so we'll probably run along with him. I'm sure he'll probably do a full lap here. Let's see what it looks like. Although it looks like he's slowing down there. It's a little odd that coming out.
Right. Let's try this one again. Point at the tree at the top of the hill, because that's the only reference we got going into 3. Through the right hander we go. Now, this is where we're going to talk about some very difficult situations, right? GT3's in. I give up. That's it. Nickers, forget it. We're never going to do it again.
That was way better than an actual lap on board. Watching that happen to you 3 times in a row was absolutely hilarious.
Yep.
No, but you made a good point. You made a good point there as you were talking about going into the S's there. That is a brutal spot. You get a hypercar there, you catch traffic at the wrong time, just like what was happening to him right there, and you can't pass him. It's obviously a severe penalty if you do cause an accident going through there. And if you do get stuck behind a GT3 car there, and as Ross said earlier, you're just watching your competition roll away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it all the way till you get through turn 5.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the case. Ross, pit stops. How's this going to work? Hypercars coming up to GT3s to lap them. Are they going to go in pits? What's the situation with that scenario?
Well, you actually bring up a really good point, because the way that it's a longer race, it's going to be around 2 hours. It's one of the races in the season where we actually run off of laps instead of time. So GTs, I think, are going to have a harder go of it, since they're going to be trying to figure out what the total fuel consumption is based on the theoretical end laps for them, which will be somewhere around maybe 3/4 of what the hypercars are going to be doing. So they have to manage that. So they're going to have a lot of different strategies coming into play. When it comes to the hypercars coming up on them, certainly track position is a huge thing here. It's going to be important to make sure that you've got as many cars between you and your competition as possible. So you're definitely going to see some of that play come in. If you've got enough fuel to be able to stretch it out and, either shorten up or lengthen some of your stints between fuel stops, then that can give you a lot of leverage in being able to manage that, where you can say, okay, I'm going to duck in early because I'm coming up on a big gaggle of 6 GTs. I don't want to deal with that right now. Let my competition fly by, slow them down by a few seconds. I'll pop out of the pits, swim by them as soon as they finally get in to do their stop, and now I'm miles ahead.
Is that the plan, is it?
Well, sometimes it is. Whether it works out that way or not is it's always a toss-up.
Do we really think it's going to work out that way?
Well, for some drivers, yes. For the Jerry Chens, George Angelises of the field, I think that they have enough racing acumen that they can go in and they can be that predictive as to what's going to be happening and pull it off. Now, as for some of the other drivers, they just go full tilt until the car runs out of fuel, and then they swing into the pits and they don't care. They're out there pushing their way through. Totally different ways of going about it. Some have their pros, some have their cons. It's just a matter of whatever the situation calls for and what the driver's mentality is going in.
Okay, that's me. Literally, I will run that tank until it's empty. I have no fuel prowess whatsoever, to be honest, Ross. I'm just run it flat and that's it.
That's a reason why that a lot of these professional teams hire, just a busload of engineers to be able to work out their strategies, throughout the entire portions of the race.
Yeah, and one of them isn't hiring me. All right, just to let you know. As you can see, to be fair though, if Ferrari hired me, I pretty much could do a better drawing than what they can. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I could do a better job than what Ferrari can. And even then, I could draw it in crayon. And I do wonder whether or not they will understand it. But there we go. Moving forward as well. Couple of minutes left of warm-up to go here. Oh, Jim, come on, predictions. What's going to happen?
I mean, honestly, I think we're going to get a pretty relatively clean race. I really do. The track is not overloaded with cars. This is a nice size field for this track. When you start putting 38 to 40 cars out there, then you're constantly running in traffic. I think that we're going to have a few cars fall out of the race, and the cars are going to get spread out, and I think it's going to be okay. And depending on how serious that they take this penalty situation through the S's, if they don't push it through here, this is an area that causes a lot of incidents during a lot of these races. So if the penalty is severe enough that they truly avoid that, I think we're going to have a pretty clean race.
Okay, Ross, what do you think?
I think it's, I agree with Jim, and I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I think you're going to see a lot of sketchy things happening. I think you're going to see a lot of really good racecraft at the same time. It's just exactly what Road Atlanta produces year after year in real life and sim. It's always the same.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go on our parade lap. Boys just leave the line now as they trundle off very slowly. Dan Kirby is on that pole position with Cameron Barker. Can we do the grid really quickly? There we go. There's Dan Kirby, Cameron Barker 1 and 2, Robert Molin and Timon Suvic sitting in 3 and 4. Molin with that Valkyrie. Looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Me too.
Magnus Dahlgren, John Uyan, Johnny Gutierrez and Micah Locke round out the 8 there, up to 8th position. Moving on, we got John Mayer, Jerry Chen, George Angelidis and Gilles Lalonde. Not good for Gilles. He's got a little bit of work to do before he moves ahead of that group. Moving forward, Vinicius Concalves, Maximilian Petrovsky, Eric Monet, and then we go into the GT3s. JT Tammy leading the way. So, yeah, he's going to be leading the GT3s. Paulbert Reyes in behind him with David Shunt in behind that and Elko Bussink. Alexander McQuarrie leading the AMS. As we said earlier on, he needs to have an absolute stinker. Then Alan Holden and Matthew Overton with Stephen Miller and Adam Gray. That's imperative that Stephen, if he can stay ahead of Adam Gray, that would be absolutely amazing for him as he looks to catch him up in the championship. Then on that one, we've got Jazz Wetfield and Vasilios Kataranakis, the last of the 26 runners. This is going to be very interesting indeed here. Hold on to your hats. You have about 30 seconds to go and get some drink, go and get popcorn, go and do whatever you want to do, but be back for the start of the race here because it is going to be absolutely mighty. Ross, I feel the drivers, there may be some sweaty drivers after this race.
Oh, every single one of them. Whoever's able to make it even just past the first quarter of the race, they got to make sure that they just take it easy, relax going into this first segment. It's obviously very tight, and like you and Jim were saying, it doesn't let up. It's you're constantly on top of each other. It's the nature of the track. It's small, it's tight, so they just need to be able to relax into a rhythm, just pay attention to what's happening in their car, and kind of just put blinders on to all the chaos going on around them. Just stay focused on what's directly in front of them, because sometimes it might be a car sideways on the track, so you got to be ready for that.
Yes. Generally coming out of turn 5 as well. There could be a car stationary there, or coming out of turn 3 at the top of the hill if they get the power down between they get the power down too early. It's all going to go wrong. Right, here we go. Over the top of the hill, down the other side, final corner. Don't forget they can't start until they go over the line. Here we go. Hold on. The 100 laps of Road Atlanta is a green. Kirby, bye-bye. He's made a jump right at the beginning as well. Molin got an absolute jump on Barker. Molin in second place, moving up the hill at the moment. Dan Kirby leads the way with Timon Suvic in behind that. GT3's up and running as well. You can see down in the GT3s is JT Tammy leading the way. Ryan Paulbert Reyes sitting in second with also David Shunt in behind that. But Dan Kirby out in front, absolutely motoring already. He's opened up 1.4 seconds. JT Tammy holding on to the lead of the GTs. Great start from Dan Kirby there, Jim.
Yeah, incredible start. Molin got a really nice jump as well in that Aston Martin. He kind of laid back just a touch, and man, he uncorked that V12 and let it go and just jumped right around Cameron Barker.
Yeah, he definitely did there. Great start for Kirby there, Ross, as well. 1.6 seconds out in front over Molin. Molin jumped Barker at the start. Barker didn't really get it off the line considering their teammates.
No, but I mean they've got a great mentality in terms of their racecraft and their teamwork, and I think he's going to continue to put pressure on there, even though he's your gunner. I just want to call out here a couple throwback liveries, as you can see here with Ryan Paulbert Reyes and that 991, or 992, sorry, 911. But it's a great race. It's we're going to see how well these guys are able to just kind of get away here. They're going to feel really great early on because those tires are nice and fresh as they come up to temperature. And it's not going to feel so great once we get to around that 50% mark within the first stint. And you'll see them start to wiggle around a little bit more as they start to deal with a little bit of dust back in the grip.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see here on the left-hand side, Kirby leading the Hypercar Pros, 2.4 seconds. Hypercar AMS, Meyer and Angelidis ahead of Chen. GT Freeze is where it needs to be. JT Tammy, Ryan Paulbert Reyes and David Jun. Jun needs to be in front of both of them. Alexander McQuarrie doing what he needs to do, out in front by 3.2 seconds. If he stays there, it's going to wrap up the championship pretty much for Alexander McQuarrie before we even get to Bahrain. So fair play to him on that one. Molin, though, got a start over Barker. Absolutely exceptional. And now we're on lap 4 of 100. There are still literally 96 laps to go, shall we say. And there's going to be action all the way through this, Jim. I think this is going to be one of them where we ain't going to be able to take our eyes off it.
Yeah, I'm really looking at that Hypercar AM battle back there. They were within a second of each other still, running pretty close. It's stretching out just a touch, but in your Hypercar the pro category there, Kirby's just seems to be in a different league right now. I mean, his car is hooked up and he is just flat flying.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Out in front, he's extending the gap as well. Maya and Angelidis in the Hypercar AMS. We did say there was an outside chance of Jerry Chen, Vinicius Goncalves maybe been able to take it if Maya had a horrible one. But at the moment, Ross, it looks like Maya is also on course to wrap this up before we get to next week, or the last round of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race to watch for sure. I mean, Akira Mistral has just done a fantastic job as a team, and it's just come down to basically drivers going at it. George Angelidis has an outside chance of getting up there and taking at least a podium position in the Drivers' Championship. And if Goncalves can do anything, I mean, it will at least make a good showing for the teams, although at this point, Jerry Chen leading the way with his two boys behind him, they're just untouchable. Yeah.
Do you honestly think Angelidis can get a podium here? Goncalves has not been slacking all season, Ross. He's had consistent. Oh God, Gutierrez getting it all wrong there over the outside. Goncalves has been consistent. He has been consistent. So, you know, it's going to be tough for Angelidis, isn't it?
It's a long race, James. We'll have to see. Only 5 laps down.
It is indeed a long race. That's right, and it seems like these guys are aware of that. Knock on wood. Never mind. I'm not even going to say it.
See, you don't start on me chatting in the background, and all dramas kicking off for poor old Maximilian Petravki. Out of turn 7 there, around he goes. Cameron Barker's now having a go at Molin down the hill. These two Hypercars nose to tail at the moment. Molin in that Valkyrie, Barker in the Cadillac, down into turn 1. The GT3s are coming up already. This is where the action's going to start, Ross, isn't it? Traffic in the equation.
Yeah,
especially.
Go
ahead. No, I was going to say, especially right here, catching traffic as we're going into through the S's can just be horrible if you're a hypercar. I mean, it can literally cost you seconds on the track, instantly.
Yeah, looking at, I think that it was either Dahlgren. I think it was Dahlgren. Who was cutting up in front. Well, it might have been Subic, but you could see just as you make those really strong efforts to get by those GT cars up the inside and that right-hander around turn 3, it's so difficult, and if you get it wrong, you can shoot the car out the other side and find yourself heading right to a barrier over on the left-hand wall, and you really don't want to be doing that early on in the race. I know that they're trying to keep up here with this front battle because it's going to be really easy for any one of them to take a position away if something happens, but you got to look after the car. It's way too early to be dicing.
Yeah, we'll replay on the screen here through 10A and 10B we go.
There you go.
Unfortunately, that 59 machine has just got that completely all wrong, and that is not a way to handle that chicane. Molin Barker still up through turn 1 now as well. GT3 traffic coming in front of us. You can guarantee Molin's not going to be overly happy about that. Through the left, through the right, dropping down the hill. Now here we go. How's he going to handle that Mustang? Is he going to sweep round the outside? Nope, he goes inside. Little bit of an argy-bargy. The Mustang still straight back in front of Barker. Imperative for Molin. He is going to open up that gap over Cameron Barker. Barker's going to end up in the hands of Dahlgren on that back back end of that Valkyrie. You can see there as well, he's got more wings than anything, to be blatantly honest. Let's be real about it. I don't even think birds need that many wings as Molin starts making his way down in that Valkyrie. Now that there, Jim, was imperative for Molin. He got the jump on one of them hypercars, just giving him that little bit of a second gap between the two of them.
No, that literally is as much racecraft in these kind of races, and especially around here, as anything else. Being able to use those GT3 cars as a way to build separation, timing that correctly, waiting to make your move so you make sure the car behind you can't get around the GT3. That's...
It's gone!
Oh, no.
He's gone!
Oh.
And he's in the middle of the track!
Oh, he is, too, in a bad spot.
Oh, that Valkyrie is to kick... No! Oh, my God! Oh, he got hit!
There it is.
There it is! I think that might have been Gilles Lalonde Gutierrez. Robert Molin sat in the middle of the track like a poor young man who's just got stood up on the first date. He had nobody there whatsoever to help him. He literally was eating the breadsticks on his own because he didn't know what to order. And poor old Robert Molin there, Ross, just got done an absolute kipper.
Yeah, unfortunately he didn't lose his splitter, so he still has a chance of that car being in somewhat decent shape. And I was going to say, look at it here. He was playing kind of a fuel strategy while also using a pick. Yeah. God, that's almost like an exact... Oh, wow, he got into the Mustang on the end of that.
I think his momentum just carried him forward there.
Yeah, that was... it was almost
Was that Gilles Lalonde that hit him?
I think it might have been Concalves in the Hypercar AMS, because I think Lalonde went a little bit earlier on. I think he went past him, but yeah, I think it may have been Concalves who's just gone and hit him, but I may be wrong. We'll have to do it on. It was Lalonde.
Yeah. I knew it was one of the Peugeots for sure, obviously.
Peugeot?
Peugeot, yeah.
Peugeot? All right, son. Most of us just say Peugeot. Peugeot.
I'm from Texas.
There's no
oh no.
Get in there. Break. There you go.
Hey, he did a good job there. He steered that car off the track, even going backwards right there.
Did he miss the tires?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he missed it.
That was
fantastic. He got control of it.
That was fantastic.
He got control of it there as well. Early drama. Robert Molin down into 8th after his own spin. He looked like he did it on his own. I don't think there was any contact whatsoever. Dahlgren now sitting in 2nd place here as well. I don't think there was contact, Jim. I really don't.
He got out on the curb there.
Yeah, I think he lost it on his own.
Yeah.
Dahlgren's now coming into the GT3s. That's David Junt. Junt sitting in 2nd place there with JT Tammy. What's happened to Ryan Paulbert Reyes? No, right. He had to. He served a penalty there as well. Let's have a look at a replay on the screen. This is poor old Jerry Dent on Stephen Miller. Oh, dearie me, I don't know. Did he get it done? Oh, he did it, Ross, but he did it off track.
Well, yeah, and it kept getting worse. Well, you could see Stephen Miller was just, his line was a little bit unusual. It was very much just in the middle of the track, and Jerry was trying to judge it before committing, and it got a little bit dicey. So he did the best he could. Unfortunately, it did run him off, but he's still going straight. No contact, so it's all good. No drama.
I will say one thing. What that has led to, there's been a couple of things all the way through. The Hypercars, Kirby's out in front by 0.6 seconds. Elko Bussink is just DNF'd, unfortunately for him. Myers leading the Hypercar AMS by 4.5 seconds. JT Tammy's leading the way by 1.9 seconds. McQuarrie out in front by 11.6 seconds. So Alexander McQuarrie is done an absolute stellar job at doing what he needs to do. Magnus Dahlgren here as well out in front. We have got a replay on the screen at the moment. This is going to be Maximilian Petrovsky down into 10A and 10B. That's Stephen Miller in front of him. Poor old Miller. Oh, he's going to get... Oh, no, he didn't.
Just barely missed.
So, Ross, I've got a question for you. So you see right here, with R Factor 2, we see his brakes lit up, just glowing. Is that an accurate representation that his brakes are extremely hot right now, or is that more just graphics?
No, you're 100%. We see Magnus Dahlgren under attack, yeah, it looks like Barker's going to go ahead and try and he's going to be able to get this. So
come on.
A little bit of a kiss. But you're absolutely right. I know exactly where you're going with that, Jim. And I wonder, too, if maybe he had rearward brake bias. But you saw his front rotors just lit completely up. So
yes.
That tells me that the back end of that car must be really tight. And he's just struggling with it. Or he caught some damage somewhere that just isn't showing up or that we're seeing. And it's just a problem.
Right. And just as we're looking here at Timon Suvek, his rear brakes were lit up, but not his front. So he's got his brake bias cranked backwards, it looks like, and kind of the opposite situation there. He's got his bias towards the rear, it looks like, to maybe help the car rotate a little better or something.
You'll see that a lot with those all-wheel drive cars. They have a tendency to be a little bit understeering as they go through the corners. So to try and compensate, drivers will push that rear bias up at the top, and just to try and even out some of that balance, and they'll move that bias around throughout the race. So you'll see some of that come forward as they burn off fuel, as the tires start to wear. But you're exactly right, and it's a great thing to see that it's actually being modeled accurately between these cars, the way you have the different platforms laid out. Even though, fortunately, we don't have Toyota in the IMSA championship, so you can't really get to see how it performed here. But this is how it would look if they were there under Lexus brand or something.
Yeah, right. Back to the racing guys as well. Katarinakis is DNF'd. Brusink is DNF'd. Two out the GT3 pros there have unfortunately DNF'd earlier on. Maybe they called it a day and decided enough was enough. These cars are getting very spread out at the moment in time. Gutierrez and Yuyan and Hypercar pros are fairly close together. Jerry Chen sitting there with Concalves not far back either. Holden, maybe get Overton closing up on him as well. McMillan and Gray might end up coming together at some point. This is imperative for some of these championship positions here, Ross. Magnus Dahlgren, to even have a chance of overtaking Barker for that third place in the championship, needs to start getting the job done here.
He does, although again, it's early days in the race. He's just got to have a really good, strong position, just settle in. I mean, even Mullen, he's not out of it. And I think that his ability to fuel save, even though he's copped the whack, and he'll probably look at maybe repairing that if he can, which will cost time, or deal with the damage, and that will also cost him time. He's not out of it. There's still going to be a lot going on. You've got some of those GTs that are still roving around. We've already seen them be kind of an issue for some of these hypercar drivers who otherwise didn't have any issues. I mean, Jerry Chen even, who's typically really good in traffic, he obviously got a little bit tripped up over Stephen Miller. So that's going to happen over all of the remaining laps throughout this race.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. But I think from the point of view of the drivers, they've just got to try and keep it clean here on board with Concalves, who's chasing down Jerry Chen in that Hypercar Am. Concalves trying to stay ahead of George Angelidis in the championship at the moment, and he needs to kind of get Angelidis if he can here, because it's going to be a big difference once again, the point system that they're going to have, and he's going to take on here as well. Concalves and Jerry Chen just ahead of me here, Ross. Both of these drivers were quicker than Angelidis in front. Concalves has got to try and get Angelidis, doesn't he, to try and make sure he can wrap up that third place.
Yeah, if he's going for a position in the Drivers' Championship, that's definitely going to be the goal. Now, again, he's going to be looking at just getting a good position early on and just staying there, settling in. But I think both of them are going to be looking to try and just advance their positions as much as possible. Because if nothing else, they just want to win a race. They don't want to just settle in and collect points. They want to take this thing. It's Petit Le Mans.
Indeed.
But this late on in the season, with the championship as it is, do you go into Petit Le Mans with the same thing? Or do you sit there and go, actually, I'm doing well in the championship here. I'm ahead of Angelidis. I don't really need to push this situation.
It all depends on the driver, James.
I think Petit Le Mans is arguably the third biggest road race. Oh, there, that's okay. Got to use the runoff area there at least. So one thing I noticed real quickly with Goncalves is he's running a hard compound tire, it looks like, on the front on his car. And I noticed his last lap was his fastest lap of the race. It really seems like his tires are starting to come in. Well, talk to us about that a little bit, Ross. What's the situation with the hard versus the medium compound here?
Well, I mean, certainly you get more grip out of the medium, but you will get more wear for sure. And when it comes to these all-wheel drive cars, running the fronts as hards will help minimize some of that wear. But unfortunately, you get situations like this where you do get a little bit more understeer, and that's something that they're unfortunately going to have to deal with. But it will allow you to potentially run double stints, maybe even triple stints, depending on how you've got your car set up and how you're driving it. So ultimately, that's there to try and save a little bit of time in the pits.
Sure.
On. So if you can do that, then great. And it may even give you an opportunity as you're going through the race to have a more stable setup, be able to control yourself as you're going through traffic in some of the technical sections, so you don't have any accidents.
Speaking of, well, I see they're passing Jazz right there, the new guy. Oh, we got a replay coming up here. Let's see. Oh,
Mowing
man!
again.
Oh man!
Second hand.
Oh man!
I don't think he's going to get full value for that car after this race at the hands of Robert Molin. That Valkyrie at the moment has been in the walls, so unfortunately he's going to have a bit of a problem. Yellow in sector 2 as well. Some other drama has kicked off at the same time, but it looks like Maximilian Petrovsky has had some drama further down. Alan Holden's in pit lane. We're going to have a look and see what Petrovsky did. Oh, we're going to have a look at Alan Holden first coming in. Oh dear, I fear a turn 5 curb, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be, it was the entry curb that cost him and spun that car up and put himself in the wall. That wasn't even the exit curb. Petrovsky coming down the hill between 3 and 4. He's got already loose as well. Is this going to be a curb?
Same.
Yeah, same job on the inside. They're not even getting to that outside curb, Ross.
Yeah, that's exactly like what we were seeing on Thursday night, just drivers coming up through that segment, and it can really unsettle the car. And we've already seen Petrovsky struggling with the balance on that thing for whatever reason. I have no idea how he's got it set up, but it's clearly not working for him. So he's just got to struggle until he can get into the pits and figure something out. Either maybe throwing on some new tires and pressure on the fronts to try and maybe get a little bit more understeer to help him get a little bit more stability. Something.
Yeah, he definitely does need something now. Unfortunately, it's causing Petrovsky a little bit of a problem. So George at the moment is at 12.9, well, 13 seconds back from John Mayer. Jerry Chen is tucked up right behind him. Goncalves needs to be there as well. You just saw him in the background here. And unfortunately for the Hypercar AMS, well, this is going to be a battle. I don't think they're going to quite get a void here throughout this race, Jim. I think these Hypercar AMS are going to be in for a spicy one.
Yeah, it seems to be that they're that is the battle right now. A lot of the other spots have separated out in some of the other classes, but that little group there is not far apart. There's really 4 cars that are, relatively close to each other within 6 or 7 seconds, which is not a lot in this type of racing.
Yeah, that's going to allow John Mayer to wrap this up if he takes this victory. Angelina's tucked in as well. He has got Chen in behind. Goncalves not far back as well. Surely, Ross, too early for fuel saving for the hit with George, isn't it? You wouldn't want to be doing it this early on.
It's never too early to be fuel saving. It's
That's
definitely
just boring.
a strategy. Well, if it all depends. George he's a master strategist. He is the strategist, the official strategist for the number 93 at HRC in real life. It is his literal day job to be working on strategy. So absolutely, it's something that he would be doing. Now, I know that he hasn't had as much time to be able to practice, so I mean, it could just be that maybe he isn't fuel saving. That's just his ultimate pace. We'll just kind of have to see how it plays out.
All right, well, we're going to find out as these guys go down the hill, bottom right and corner as well as Timon Suvic in the bottom right. And there's also I wonder what happened in the first time. There was a penalty for Alan Holden leaving the pit lane.
I heard Alan Holden had a penalty leaving
I reckon he did as well. I heard he had a penalty leaving the pit lane as he goes on.
We should charge extra for people to listen to the behind the scenes, because that would be worth paying for.
I think we should have a membership where you can buy a membership on a monthly basis and you get to listen to the producer just on CMS, because you will crease up for some of the things that goes on in our hero here as well. Chen again still tucked in behind Angelina is here as well. Oh, Ross, the professionalism on the JPP broadcast with Paul as producer. You know, I don't know. I know you said George is obviously, he does this in real life. He's a strategist and stuff like that. I don't know if he needs to be doing this, Ross. I think he just needs to go full beans and see where he ends up. Surely he's just that little bit too far back in the championship.
Now, I would say that he and Jerry often find themselves crossing swords on track. You know, this is not unfamiliar territory. So whether he's fuel saving or not, he's definitely going to put up a very strong defense. And I would say that if he is fuel saving, it's exactly what you want to do. If you know that your ultimate pace isn't going to be that of your rivals, and you're just going to take an alternate strategy like fuel saving, then your best strategy is to try and hold him back, slow him up, make him use his tires, make him use up his fuel, and then when it comes time to hit that pit stop, boom, you're 20 seconds out in front of them. That's exactly what you got to do. And if that's what George is doing, you know, good on him. He's got the strategy.
Well, I do wonder if it's a little bit early, but maybe I'm wrong here. We got a replay of...
And we get nothing from the producers.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? We need the information, we don't get anything. Looks like Maximilian Petrovsky has gone and done himself some more dramas.
No.
Russ, in he goes into the gravel. Poor old Max out there with his bucket and spade. He's going to be digging up, making sandcastles there as well. Yeah, man, Max has definitely got some form of issue there, Jim. I think that car is not balanced at all. It's just doing a bit of anything, whatever it wants. And poor old Max is just trying to hold it onto track.
And really, you know, I'm not used to seeing that many problems pop up at the bottom of the S's. You know what I mean? Like, we've seen several cars go around on their own right there. And it seems like that curb is giving them fits. So we got some cars making pit stops here at lap 22.
Yeah, CMS Pro Red.
Yeah, both of them coming in together there as well. On that one, we did say they're going to be about 20-25 minutes in. It's always the theory for the hypercars anyway, Ross, isn't it? I don't think that's a surprise that the hypercars are coming in. We're not really early on in the race. We are kind of within this pit window, right? It's generally 20-25 minutes anyway. So fair play to them guys. I'm sure Lalonde will come in, Gutierrez will come in, and Nguyen will come in. You see hypercar IMSA in, Maya, Chen, Concalves, Monet, Angelina's 57 seconds back. I'm sure I think he may have already gone in before these guys are on the lap before, because that's a massive loss for George. JT, Tammy, Davidson, Overton, they're going to go about 35-40 minutes. Same with McQuarrie and Gray. McQuarrie out in front by 24 seconds. Miller not too far back from Adam Gray, which is imperative for their championship here as well. Well, we're going to find out, Ross, if he put it in early, he ain't fuel saving, is he?
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
No, it's too early. Surely he's going to be out later than they are.
Well, maybe he's trying to get a jump on him here, but you know, the reality is you can fuel save, and it's not about always necessarily going extra laps. It's about spending less time in the pits, taking a less amount of fuel when you do stop. If he's got his race calculated out and he's backing it up, this may be right where he wanted to stop. You know, I mean,
but early, even though he's fuel saving, I don't get that.
Again, if
Ross, back out. Come on.
So you actually had made a comment earlier, like, you know, would you want to come into the pits to avoid some of the cars up ahead? And that is certainly something that George could be taking in consideration. You know, maybe he comes in a couple laps early, knowing that he can fuel save later on. So yeah, it's all about time in the pits, avoiding what's going on ahead. Now, I will say, knowing that George is a little bit without practice right now, it's very likely that probably is his ultimate pace, and he was not fuel saving. That's going to be my guess. But
that's fair enough.
We'll have to see.
If it is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, if he hasn't been practicing, then that's the thing. You go as fast as you're most comfortable with, At the same time, we've had David Shunt go off the side of the circuit as well. He was down in the GT3s, of course, with JT Tammy and Matthew Overton. I'm sure we'll have a look back at that one. As Johnny Gutierrez is unfortunately under immense amount of pressure as Timon Suvic. I've got a funny feeling this may be turn number 5 here. May have just caused that problem for David Shunt in that Mercedes. It's even worse as well because obviously the back end of the Merc generally wants to come round. You have to Netflix and chill the Merc. You cannot take it on a date to a nightclub. Let's just put it that way. Otherwise, it will not like it whatsoever. So let's see. And we're going to go back onto that replay and have a look. Okay, we're going to have a look at this battle of Dahlgren and Gutierrez. And as you can see there, he's going to go through. And Johnny Gutierrez is going to come out of 10B and still try and get him off down the hill as well. As you can see, Dahlgren has not been in the pits for over 3 minutes. I'm sure we'll get that one sorted out here currently. Right, here we go. This is what he did. Coming down the road on the entry, or are we going to hug the exit? This one's going to be on the exit, Ross. Around he goes into the tyre barrier.
Big hit, too.
That's violent. And that's exactly what he didn't want to see today because he is chasing down JT Tammy as hard as he can. And there's I think he said it was about a 10-point separation now that he's going to have to overcome. You know, it's a very tight battle at the top, and he does not need that. He's got to settle in.
Yeah, that's the thing. He had a 9-point deficit going in. Obviously, JT got the pole position point, so that's 10 points already. You know, it's going to be tough for David Shunt, but we're going to find out how he's going to get on. A couple of people in pit lane. You see Eric Monet is in there as well. 2 DNFs, of course. Karanakis and Bussink DNF'd early on. So this is going to keep an eye on a GT3 battle because that's going to be imperative for that championship. Jerry Chen tucked in still behind Angelidis. They do seem to find each other on the racetrack, Jim. There's always a magnet at some point that these guys come together. How is this going to be with Jerry Chen? You know, he's got to look at trying to get something out of George, whether it's a mistake, whether it's getting an overtake done, isn't he?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, and I think we haven't really seen him make a dive or a charge to try to pass him yet. So I would think that he's riding his tail like this, trying to get him to make a mistake or waiting for a mistake right now to see if that's going to happen. Funny thing is, though, they went through their pit stop cycle and there was no gain or loss here at all. They're both still running exactly the same distance apart from each other that they were before the pit stop cycle. So that didn't really change anything.
That's the thing for me, Ross, as well. I get from this is Jerry is very, very patient. You know, he's got the patience of the saint of what I've seen him over the season, and consistency is the key for Jerry. And I'm wondering if he's not going for the move because he doesn't have to go for the move. I'm also worrying though whether or not that patience, almost that lack of like killer instinct almost on Jerry's part may have cost him this championship because Meyer is out in front. And he hasn't done George yet. He hasn't dived at George yet. He hasn't looked aggressive at him at all. You know, is Jerry's patience sort of making it worse for him almost?
I don't think so. We're only a quarter of the race in, and he's right in a good spot. He's going to watch George. He's going to put pressure on him because he knows he can just go ahead and just sit back and wait for George to possibly have a mistake. He knows that he's got more time behind the wheel than him. He just has to sit there and be patient as they got it off right in front of him. Was that Shunt again?
Yeah.
Yeah, David Shunt.
Same. Oh, no, he's going to. No.
He's going to lose it. Hold it. He may have just kissed the wall.
I think that car's messed up, man. I think he's in big trouble.
Yeah, Jerry and Angelidis 2 seconds there as well. There's a couple of others involved in all this. Concalvis there at the same time. It's going to be on the...
Oh, Michael Lock got him.
Wide. Jerry Chen's come round. There's also another car sat on the side of the road in the gravel. 2 Hypercars to go.
That's Michael Lock.
Long and Jerry Chen have both ended up in the gravel. I'm not even sure if there was contact on Jerry Chen before he lost that on his own.
It looked like he got a kiss on the diffuser just going in there. I think Michael Lock wasn't able to judge too much of what was happening. There's another car.
I think that's Petrovsky.
Yeah.
Again, coming out of 7.
Man, I tell you what, his car is absolutely evil today, man.
Yeah, but I wonder if the fact his car's evil might be also a good reason not to drive it as hard. Treat it nicely. Go slamming on the throttles. Feather the brakes, treat it nice and all that. Concalves now tucked in behind Angelides as well. This is again another thing in the Hypercar AM Championship. Let's have a look back at this incident, and we'll see if we can decipher it as well. If we can come off car, please, as well, so we can get a little bit of a wider angle as it goes over the grass. Yeah, it just bounces over the grass there, unfortunately for David Junt. And then he gets loose at the top of the hill, through the boards, over the.
Hit it?
Yeah, sparks it up. And now is he going to kiss the wall? Just a little bit.
A Rube Goldberg of mistakes, unfortunately.
This is the one going down the hill as well for David Junt, unfortunately.
No.
Again, all loose in that Mercedes. And wiggling hard on the brakes. Up the exit road he goes, manages to keep it out of the wall that time. So fair play for David Junt there as well. Bit of a rough episode for David Junt there, Jim, but at least he managed to not do overly the amount of damage that we thought he could have done.
Yeah, I think that first hit he took was pretty big on the front end there. I think that car is probably knocked out of alignment a good bit there. He's going to struggle, as we've seen with Concalves here.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at the replay. Hopefully this is the Michael Lock incident.
Yeah, it is.
Whether or not there was contact.
Oh, yeah. Had to be.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit, and unfortunately both drivers off the circuit. Jazz Whitfield as DNF. That's another one out of the GT3s. That's the GT3 AM this time as well. Yeah. A couple of people DNF in here, Ross, as well. Drama happening in that Hypercar AMS kind of scenario, which is where we expected it to be as well, at the same time, with Angelides, Concalves, Chen, and Maya. This is Jerry going off again into 10A. Oh, big snap.
Yeah,
got that all wrong. Yeah. Just decided enough is enough. I am not going to try and make that corner. And this is Jazz Whitfield's incident. Little bit of air in that Mustang. Didn't let it get settled down. Comes into the final court.
Oh!
What happened there? Oh, that might have
He
been.
exploded.
It literally blew.
That was unusual because he popped up in the air. I'm wondering if maybe there was some debris or something we just wasn't rendering on track, because that was way too violent. For the car to pop up in the air, that'd be a hell of an engine blow. Yes, I have no idea what happened there. That maybe it was some net code. It just caught him, off guard, or thought it was where he wasn't. That was weird.
Can we get a slow motion? I'll be interested to see if we missed anything there. Because I think that looks spectacular.
That was awesome.
At the same time, but yeah, very, very bizarre.
That'll be a good clip anyway.
Yeah, very bizarre for what went on. I'm not quite sure how that car jumped up in the air and smoked at the same time. Kirby out in front in the Hypercar Pros, 9.8 seconds. Here is that replay that hopefully that we will get here with these drivers in slow motion. You just see, comes down the hill, and it's like almost like an Do you know, it's that Overton in behind him. That's Matty Overton, isn't it?
I can't see the number quite from here, but
I can't see that.
I think that had to have been netcode. There's just no way, because that was so violent and sudden, and you could even see his position just on the track just instantly changed, and he was right off of the front of that Aston Martin's nose. So there was something unusual happening there. I think technical caught him out. It was really unfortunate. He was having a pretty decent race up till then.
Yeah, I do wonder if the Aston Martin's got superpowers and just touched him and sent him off into the Honda and made the car go poof. And GT3 start coming in as well, lap 31. JT Tammy, David Junt, Reyes is in there. Overton's already been in the pits. He's 66 seconds off the lead. Vinicius Concalves now sitting in third in that Hypercar AMS. That will keep him, a good haul of points, keep him ahead of Angelides in the championship. It would be better if he could do it on track, but at the same time, these points are imperative. He's got 56 points on George. George has pretty much got to win both races with 73 points up for grabs to remotely try and turn over that deficit. So Concalves is doing the right thing at the moment. chasing down George, not pushing that car too bad, holding on to that third place. Timon Suvic in fourth, chasing down Magnus Dahlgren up the road, trying to escape Gutierrez, who's 8 seconds behind that at the same time. Every other category at the moment, a little bit more spread out, Jim, than we're used to seeing, I suppose, even down in the GT3s, but I'm sure we've got a lot more racing to come.
Well, that's very, very typical of these endurance type races, where they kind of separate out a little bit in the middle, and then the pit stops will shuffle them, and they usually come back together for the last 20, 30 minutes of the race and you see some good hard racing at the end. That's pretty typical, I think.
Yeah, it's that F1 stage of racing, isn't it, Ross, where we all have a snooze about now and then wake up for 10 minutes at the end.
I don't know about you, but I would never say that one of these races has a snooze point. I mean, we just saw Mustang explode in flames.
F1, not this part, not this. I said F1.
Technically, you said this had an F1 moment. That's what but I'm not here to correct her.
Wow, let's all be practical up here in the booth, shall we?
So
I've been hanging around Paul, our producer, too long.
Petrafsky's around.
Oh, but man,
we could just have a 60 seconds Benny Hill music moment of Max Petrafsky going around after this. I think that would be absolutely amazing. The poor man. Let's not compound his misery anymore from this race. He's clearly having a bad one for Maximilian. He needs to go in there as well.
Finish your thought, Ross.
No.
Sorry.
Oh well, no. I mean, this is kind of a moment where there's a little bit more of a lull. The pit stops have stretched people out just a wee bit, but it's anything but quiet out there. There's still quite a bit going on. I mean, obviously we've got Suvic, Dahlgren. They're right here. They're coming up behind these Porsches in front of them. I think one of them is Michael Locke, and you got Jerry Chen watching JT Tammy here now all of a sudden from our drone cam.
Yes, drone cam.
Taking a look. I think he might have been the one behind. I think that was JT who was behind him, right behind Jazz. And I saw that he must have been in the pits when he went back into Discord and typed to him and said that he was sorry. So I think he thought he had made contact, and then there was suddenly that explosion. So yeah, I think that was just a technical thing, unfortunately.
Maybe they accidentally put a Ford Pinto gas to put a Ford Pinto gas tank in that Mustang by accident or something.
You might be right on that.
Let's see, without the Aston Martin has just got more power than it needs, and literally.
Oh, here we go. This is going to be a good one right here.
Yeah, right up. I'm just going to watch that Mustang in front, ladies and gentlemen, and
this is going to be great.
There we go.
Oh.
Yeah, he almost hit a wall, did Jazz, and then come back, Ross.
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought might have been the case.
So,
that it just latency got
Ross, I got another question for you for my own knowledge, but also for people watching as well. We've seen, the certain cars out there today have been quite a struggle. For handling, what can you do during the race to adjust an absolutely evil handling car? What does the driver have at his disposal to try to change the handling on his car during the race?
It's a great question, Jim. If you're running a hypercar, you have ARBs, you have brake bias, so you can use those to fiddle with which end of the car might be giving you trouble, soften it up, tighten it up. And for the GTs, you at least have bias. You unfortunately can't adjust your ARBs. You can adjust your traction control in both, though, which that can give you a little bit. And a little bit of it. See what's coming through here. Wow, that's dicey. But they make it work. That was a close one. Very cool to watch. They just managed to get through there as they make their way around Goncalves. And it looks like it's either Jerry Chen or Eric Monet back there. I'm not sure which one it is. I have to check the colors on from the bumper. Great racing.
Yes, great racing.
Lost James here. So yeah, it looks like Petrafsky DNF'd finally, put that car out of its misery, pulled out the shotgun and said, "You're done for today." But that's...
I think he needs to, really, after that. Poor old Max has had a bit of a raspy one. Konkavitz is now going to make a move on George, and this is what we didn't see from Jerry Chen. And this is why I mentioned that Jerry Chen's patience may have got the better of him, because he needs to do that, and he hadn't done that throughout this race. Konkavitz has just gone through on Angelidis, and I expect Konkavitz to start motoring away there. That's what I was talking about, Ross. The patience of Jerry Chen, the aggression of Konkavitz. Konkavitz got the job done. Jerry Chen didn't.
Yeah, it's interesting. Vinicius is actually George's teammates over in Historics, and he clearly prefers the cars with a little bit more aero, some of the more modern compliances that you've got going on. Catch a replay here. So I don't think he's going to give him a big fight, kind of that relationship. Yeah, here's John taking the escape road there. Oh, caught a
big
go
two
for
wheels.
coming
Nice.
off.
Nice little sideways there for David Junt in that Merc. How to put it up on 2 wheels. Great job from him. That's
I'd
now,
make that my profile picture there.
Yeah, beautiful shots there from our producer.
Behind Ryan Pulbert Reyes, that's third in that one as well. So we're going to find out a lot more action to come. David Junt in pit lane at the moment. I don't think he's been in that long, but still more racing to come on lap 36. Here you see lots of action taking shape. George Angelidis is now trying to come back at Concalves. Concalves dealing with traffic at the same time. Down the hill they come. It's going to be an Aston Martin. He's got to get through. I believe that may well be, is that Alexander McQuarrie in front? It does look like him. Be a little bit more careful there, boys, please, as that's the GT3 Pro AM leader and the AM Championship leader. Coming up to David Junt now. Anything can happen behind Junt at this moment in time. But Angelidis here, Jim, he's got to try and have a go at Concalves again, surely, because this is the championship connotations. Concalves will now hold on to his position if George doesn't get him. It was a massive outside chance that he had. He was going to be able to get him anyway. How is George going to come back from this? Because obviously Concalves has got the aggression. Has George got that aggressive streak in him? Can he get quicker? Is he sitting there in his optimum speed at the moment?
Well, there's probably several different questions that need to be answered there. One of the first question I have is, is Concalves' tires on the front when he's running those hard tires, are his tires in better shape? And that was why he was able to drive by him and potentially start driving away from him a little bit at this point in the race, So I think that's one factor. And then, George may be at the point where he's trying to save his tires or potentially save a little fuel here, but stay in contact with him. So I think we'll just have to see how it plays out at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know George better than most of us, Ross. What's going through his head at the moment?
I think he's just driving his race right now. He's trying to not come into contact with any one of these pro cars and just take his time through it. Now, it doesn't mean that he's just going to move over and give him a position if he doesn't have to, but he's definitely going to do what he can to make sure that he preserves the car and now the kind of the position that he has. Obviously, he's ahead of Chen. That's kind of his number one goal right now. No.
It's just gone round. Barker has gone round. That was in behind George there as well. I'm wondering if there was any reflection on the front that George may have been a lot slower than Barker through turn 7. Barker slammed the brakes. That Cadillac said, no, I do not like that at all. And unfortunately for Barker, his back end. I wonder though, Ross, that we were talking about it, whether or not George's pace not directly contributed to that, but indirectly may have had something going on with that.
Barker and Kirby definitely have great pace, especially in those Cadillacs. They're hooked up from the season of just working their setups and working with the car. I think he might have just been caught up a little bit coming on the exit, like you were saying. He wasn't anticipating. Actually, no. He just kind of lost it on his own.
I think that happened under acceleration.
I think his back end did come round on his own there, and maybe Cameron Barker did that all on his own. But how much of a distraction was that Hypercar AM in front? I'm sure he'll let us know a little bit later on as we get back into the action. Coming up to 40 laps of 101. Maya out in front in the Hypercar AMs. Concalves, Angelidis, Chen. That's your top 4 in Hypercar AMs. JT Tammy, Overton, Reyes, GT3, McQuarrie, Gray, Miller down in the AMs. And then it's Kirby, Barker, Suvik in the Hypercar Pros with Dahlgren tucked in behind. Once again, there is your championship standing, or the halfway standing, should we say, on the screen at the moment, with DNFs here for Maximilian Petrovsky. Unfortunately for him, Jazz Whitfield, Katarinakis, and also Elsko Busic are all out earlier on in this race. But we've got a lot more racing to go, guys. here on this one. Go get a drink, get your popcorn, sit back, relax. I'm sure there is more coming on through here from Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta. And Ross, it's all still to play for, isn't it?
Yeah, we're actually getting close up to the halfway point, and drivers are doing about exactly what I thought. So we're going to start seeing some of these pit cycles coming through again. You're going to have one maybe about every quarter point in the race where you're going to see a little bit of a flurry coming on the pit road. So they're going to start a little bit right now. You're going to have some of the hypercars, I believe, coming in because they're about around
man.
a minute or so. Yeah.
Sorry.
Really watching them. Yeah, no,
He carried that nose halfway. He carried that nose halfway down the hill. It looked like a ski jumper in the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, they push so hard through there. It's amazing how much downforce these hypercars can generate. Even though they're sort of, if you look back at some of the LMPs, LMP2, LMP1s, like how much downforce they're able to get versus like what the hypercars have. They're sort of in the middle point between GTs and true prototypes, the way that you see them in the air.
Lock on that outside curve.
At least it was the outside this time for Michael Lock. Unfortunately for him, around
save it. Not too bad. Yeah, no.
Off the wall. Yeah, I think he did stay off the wall there as well. So,
well, until he did that.
Until he did, yeah, he stayed off the wall until he didn't. You know what I mean? Let's just put it that way. There, unfortunately for Michael Lock on that situation, but. Still 41 of 101. John Mayer out in front in the Hypercar AMS. Why is this imperative at the moment? Because he's leading the championship. Concalves, Angelidis, and Chen. Ewan in the pits. Get that one. Jerry Chen is in. He's going to lose 6 points to Concalves if he stays where he is at this moment in time. Now, obviously, why is that relevant? Because there's only 13 points between them. It will be only 13 going into Bahrain, obviously in November. So unfortunately for Jerry Chen here, he could be under attack, Jim, from losing that second place in the championship.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly, that didn't help his situation getting, for lack of a better term, getting run over, because that's what happened to him. It certainly put him in a bad spot, but he does we're still got half this race to go. Anything can happen, obviously, but, and he certainly can recover a few of those points, if nothing happens down the road. That is quite an incredible shot coming down that hill. Oh yeah, a lot of our hypercars are starting to pit now.
Yeah, but that's on target with 20 lap stint, going in on 22. They're coming in on 42. It's kind of a regular thing. They'll go in at 60, but it's whether or not they're going to have that fourth splash and dash, or whether or not anybody's done a job to try and avoid it. Michael Lock's had a bit of a bad one, obviously, as well, sitting 8th in the Hypercar Pros at the moment. There's John Mayer leading the Hypercar AMS, 21 seconds ahead of Concalves. Jerry Chen has just jumped Angelidis. That's due to the fact that Angelidis has gone in pit lane. Concalves is in pit lane as well. So Concalves there, let's see if he can come out in front of Angelidis when they're both on their pit exits. George in the pit lane still, bit of a long one, but we'll see what happens here once again. John Mayer though leading the way in the Hypercar AMS. He's wrapped up the championship. It's going to be a great run from John here. Ross as well, had a good season.
Yeah, I have to say, John Mayer has done such an incredible job throughout his racing career at CMS. He started off not a bad driver at all, but just to watch him, how he's grown, his prowess, his racecraft. I mean, he's a fast driver, and there's a reason why Jerry Chen picked him out, because he wanted to be able to win the championship. He wanted a very good driver. He was representing the AM. And I would say, just based on his performance, quick decision to come in. He may actually be looking at moving up into pro next year. I have to look at the ELO to see where he's at, but I think he's doing pretty well enough that he might be looking at moving up to pro.
They were great. They were a great band, by the way, in the 70s.
Nice.
The Electric Light Orchestra.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I wanted to bring up with Barker earlier, when he spun earlier, he was a second and a half behind Kirby. He had closed all the way back up on Kirby and was a second and a half behind when he spun. So he has some pace. And I think we're going to see him have a nice recovery before this race is over.
Yeah. Molin in this Valkyrie. No, coming through the S's. Out the other side. Oh, there was contact there. Can't really see it from that angle. And we didn't really see what happened off the other side on that one. And let's see if we can get a off-board shot so we can see the repercussions of what we believe was a hit there. Robert Molin in that Valkyrie is at 1.1 in front of Kirby, but obviously I don't think Molin's pitted at this moment in time. I think this is a reflection of pit stops here for Robert Molin. Found himself up the dizzy heights of leading the championship, and this should be the repercussions of what happened here between Robert Molin in that Valkyrie. Is they're going to be coming off the curb on the exit. There was, he comes back up.
I clipped him.
Yeah, don't give him a massive amount of space. No real damage though, Ross. He managed to hold it down the grass.
Yeah, well, that's just quick hands and quick thinking. I mean, he saw that Molin was pushing really hard there. And, you know, I don't think Robin really was trying to be too aggressive. He was just trying to keep it close and not compromise his line. Unfortunately, it did result in just a little bit of a kiss there, but he gathered it up and moved on. So we'll see if Robin Molin is able to take advantage of this. I feel like the pace on that car, just kind of looking back through his times, he's not in a great position, but he still might have a chance of being able to extend that fuel on there. Another escape. Yep. Yeah. Not as pretty as the last one, but
hey, he still held it though. That's the good side of it. Monet here, coming out through turn 3. The right-hander gets loose.
Oh no! Stay off of it.
Nice catch.
Oh, nice. Good job from Monet there. However, the rejoin. Oh, he's going to be tight. Oh, good job overall from all of them. Managed to make it through without any dramas there at all.
Oh, he's showing a DNF on the timing tower. What happened there?
That's bizarre. We'll see if
can't answer that one
there. And it looks like Petravke, just a quick update on there. His car stalled after he spun in the final chicane, and the starter button got stuck in the housing on the wheel. So he couldn't start.
Wow.
Yeah. I do wonder. Oh, he did, yeah. Just come in, and that was the end of that one. So, unfortunately for Eric Monet, it's over and done with. I'm sure we'll have a little bit of a conversation and find out what went on there. Molin heading into the pits. That's the lead of the race. Done and dusted for him. We did say he was there on the fact that he hadn't pitted. And Dan Kirby does end up taking the lead of the race once more here. Jim, Kirby unstoppable at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly appears that way. But like I said, Barker had closed it up to within a second. And they are sitting there now. Of course, Barker's still got to pit again. So we're going to be, I think it's going to be a pretty big gap here. But I think that he's going to close this gap up, I'm pretty sure. And I think he'll probably end up running second overall here before this thing's done today.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Cam Barker 9 seconds behind Kirby. Subic in behind Dahlgren, Gutierrez, Molin still in the pit lane, Uyan, Locke, Lalonde. Everybody's a little bit more further spread out as we're coming into that 50 lap mark here again. Imperative for the championship for McQuarrie. He's just got to finish that in the LMGT3. Jim, that was kind of Alexander McQuarrie's real sort of mission through this race, was just to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it's a tough spot. I mean, do you push hard or do you play it conservative? I think he's so far run a great race. He's out there in front, got a pretty nice size lead now. Don't have to push the car too hard, don't have to take any crazy chances or anything.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think McQuarrie needs to worry too much. JT Tammy has got a meteoric lead of 58 seconds. I'm hoping that might have something to do with pit stops here, Ross. Otherwise, JT has just pulled out an absolute mile of a gap.
Did you say a mediocre lead? Sounded like a mediocre lead then, so good. Yeah, he's
meteoric.
Meteoric.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that's kind of rude, but yeah, he's absolutely got this thing on lock. And that's exactly what he needs to do. Just stay out of things. I mean, he obviously had that incident with Jazz, which is just purely a technical thing, nothing to do with anything that they were doing wrong. And just a real unfortunate thing for him, again, with that Mustang. Yeah, finally getting a chance to really show that car's prowess off in these races. And he's doing, and JT is obviously working his way through traffic. I mean, he knows how to race around these guys. He's run in the top class, he's run in GTs. I think he prefers cars with a little less aero, where he can really feel the car move around, but it's not to say that he's a slouch. He's running LMP2s on the in the NARS championship and putting the screws to Alec King over in that one. It's a shame that Alec King had to go ahead and have a real racing career and running Miatas, because now we unfortunately miss him on Saturdays. But back to here, yeah, he's doing a great job. And as we see Robin Willing come through, and I believe that's, oh, I'm sorry, this, we switched over. That's a different Aston Martin damage.
So McQuarrie in the bottom right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's McQuarrie. Decent race too.
Yeah, we were just talking. He's just doing what he needs to do. He doesn't need to get himself involved in anything dramatic. He didn't need to, you know, push, pull, do anything outside of the norm. He had to go in there. He had to go for the race. And that is what he did. And he's 32 seconds ahead of Gray, with Miller not a minute and 7 further back as well. I'm sure that will correct itself here once more. But McQuarrie, you know, you can't really fault him here, Ross. I think he's pretty much wrapped up this championship going into Bahrain on November.
Yeah, all he has to do is effectively finish the race, and he's good to go. There's, like you said, no dramas. You know, he's just got to keep doing his thing, stay out of trouble. We still have to watch the sun go down, though, and as we know, when the moon comes out, that's when things start to get a little bit crazy.
Yeah, the moon comes out, the Wolves begin to play.
Especially around this time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. There as well. Everyone had got bumped by a lapper, then the car was undrivable and he had no repair available. So unfortunately for him, he decided enough was enough, as these two are battling out in front of McQuarrie there. McQuarrie can guarantee, he probably hopes they shouldn't, but that going down the hill at the moment, and Alexander McQuarrie just keeping an eye on the two hypercars in front of him as well. But done a great job. Should wrap up the championship. Job done for him. Barker now 5 seconds behind Kirby. Was out at 9 at one point, so he's pulled in an absolute meteoric.
It was 11.
Yeah,
it was 11 last time I talked about him. It was 11, so he's picked up 6 seconds.
109.349 for Barker. 109.666 for Dan Kirby. So race pace absolutely speedy. Meyer out in front in Hypercar AMS as well. Couple of the championships here, Ross, I think going into Bahrain are going to be done and dusted.
Yeah, certainly a few of them, but not all by any stretch of the imagination. And even if we do have winners up on top, there is still a lot to play for right behind them, because a few of the drivers, obviously, they're well out in front. They've had very consistent careers throughout this season. But, you know, the back steps at the podium are they're totally unclaimed at this point. You know, everyone's got a hand on them within the top 5 and at least one of each of the championships. So yeah, everyone's still got a lot to play for. It's not over by any means.
No, Stephen Miller might have a shot getting hold of Adam Gray and Peter Meyer. He's sitting third in his respective championship as well, and that would net him 15 points. That will put him on 226. Going into Bahrain, it's going to be Meyer, Gray and Miller. Gray getting 18 points on top of that. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting in that GT3 championship going into the final round in Bahrain. Of course, join us for that one. It's going to be very, very exciting indeed, I'm sure, and will be a great season-ending finale on the 15th of November. So mark it in your calendar, and that will be the last race of this season. So looking forward to that one. 51 or 101. Barker now 2.5 seconds back, Jim.
Yeah, no, he's closing the gap quickly. He's really, if you look at their current pace right now, he's been consistently a second to a second and a half faster per lap than Kirby. Not necessarily their overall fastest lap of the race, but their current last laps, it's been the last 2 or 3 laps has been a second to a second and a half a lap. He is absolutely flying right now.
Yeah, Barker, meteoric. Can Barker catch Kirby? Is Kirby going to let him take the win? Because Kirby effectively has already wrapped up the championship, Ross.
Well, I don't know that he's going to let anybody do anything that they haven't fought tooth and nail for. But, I mean, stranger things have happened. If there's some sort of team order that might make sense in that case, it could happen. But I kind of find it unlikely. I think they're going to take it to the end and fight if they can. A little bit of a misjudgment there. This is CMS Pro team, I want to say, blue.
That was at least he had some concrete to use there.
John Uyon, yeah. John, unfortunately, having a little bit of a rough season. He's had a lot of life stuff happening to him, which has taken him away from a lot of the driving that he's been hoping to have. So unfortunately,
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's been a real shame.
God help we live life.
Yeah.
I tell you what, though, I have to say I like his other ride better than this one. The Jaguar. That Jaguar. That's my car, man. I love that car.
Yeah. He's certainly enjoying the historics quite a bit more for sure, and he's from the next year's historics coming up. He's been having an absolute blast putting them through alpha development. They handed them off to the beta testers, and everyone's just saying the same thing.
Is that something that you want to reveal? Has that been revealed already? What's the?
Oh, well, we talked about it before. I know Paul and I were talking about for sure. I can't remember if you were in yet or not, but yeah, James, you were here.
What? So what? Just quick summary. What is going to be the next season of vintage cars?
Oh well, we don't win. It's a little early to reveal publicly. So
okay.
We can
All
talk
right.
about it in private.
Well, I was trying to get a little scoop out of you there.
Yeah, we'll share offline like we were before with James earlier.
That's fine. I was just trying to get the folks at home a little sneak peek.
Yeah, I think James may have left. Usually he's got something to say whenever I make a comment about upcoming historics, but seems to be speechless.
Yeah, well, we've lost him for a while. I think he had to dart out to get something to drink or something. I'll tell you what, man, this is a great shot. These cars carrying their front end down this down that drop there coming through turn 11 there.
Beautiful framing there, and you can see, Jim, the shadows are starting to get longer. That sun's coming down, so that's going to change the complexity of the race. Drivers are going to start really having to pay attention to their braking zones. They're used to natively where the car is wanting to go, is cut to replay, but as the lighting changes, it really upsets the way that you drive the car. You got to pay attention.
It's molding, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Not too bad.
Okay, no, not too bad. Oh, wait a minute, he's not done yet. Oh, did it spin?
That might have been. Hopefully he caught it there.
No, I think he spun. That didn't look like that was going to be catchable from that point.
Just trying to update here and look at where he was on the scoring and timing. He's still up in 5th place.
Oh, it stepped out on him right there. Oh, he did save it. Nope. Well, no, he's all right. Okay, he didn't tear anything up.
Heart in the throat, though. That was a close one. So many drivers can do the exact same thing, trying to take the widest approach into turn 1, as we see one of the 96 hopping in the pit. Ooh, a little bit of a curb hubbing there going on. If I can get my words right. One of the 96 over on the left-hand side, screen left. And it's Gutierrez who went in there.
Yeah, he's, well, we'll see how that affects him here. Where's Barker now? Barker is less than a second behind Kirby now. He has really closed this gap up. But now there's a pit stop disparity, though. Is that correct? Am I correct seeing that correctly?
They did come in a little bit separately from each other.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, it was about 1 lap, and so they're effectively on the same fuel strategy at this point. They might still be offset by about a lap or so. We'll see how that goes. But right now, they've got that top 1 and 2 locked up, so they're just going to basically settle in and go ahead and coast it.
Yeah, we've got these two fighting out now as well. Cameron Barker in 2nd place, Dan Kirby in 1st, closing in on him once again as these guys come down the hill. Barker has been meteoric over the last few laps. We've seen him on a 109.349 last time around, fastest lap of the race. 109.666 for Dan Kirby. The signs of the devil. Are we going to see the devil side of Dan Kirby? Is he going to make this here as well? The man is the Iceman himself. No matter what car he's in, he always ends up taking a victory. Down the hill we go, on board with Cam Barker now, through the right. Now he's going to go through the left, coming into that tricky turn 5, traffic on the exit, and through he goes. Over the curb, no real issues for Cam Barker at this moment in time. He's chasing down Kirby. Kirby's got traffic in front of him. This could be interesting. Ross with the traffic coming up as well.
Always interesting with the traffic. Yeah, basically they just have to hold station, work their way through traffic. Barker isn't going to really press the situation at all, just knowing it's standing team orders, and it's still a little ways to go yet. I mean, we're maybe about 2/3 of the race done, and they've still got to hold on. It's very easy to upset the car and just throw everything away, and they don't want to do that. As you see Barker, just like that. I mean, you can have a situation where if he was just a little bit closer, he might have maybe slightly misjudged where he was coming into that braking zone. So still got to pay attention. A lot of laps left to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim Barker's shown pace, though. Is he going to take this victory, do we think?
I mean, he's clearly right now showing the pace in the race for sure. Again, it could be a team order. Who knows, which way that could go. But either way, they're both, obviously class of the field right now. But Barker's been so fast. Did you, when you were gone there for a second, James, did you pump your microphone full of caffeine? Because that thing got about 3 times as loud when you came back.
No, not at all. It hasn't moved at all. The only thing that will help with Cam Barker going back to the racing is the fact that obviously he's second place behind Dan Herlock. If he takes this victory, that will move him within contact distance going into the final race of the season for Dan Herlock and Cam Barker as well. Ryan Paul Reyes having some drama down in turn 1. I have a funny feeling we're going to watch Porsche doing Porsche things.
No, it's a big hit too. Big hit.
Bumps the wall. Cam Barker will be literally within 2 points of Dan Herlock going into the final race of the season. We know Kirby's already wrapped this one up, Ross.
If he wins, is that correct?
Yeah, if he wins. I wouldn't put this past Kirby of playing a team game here if Kirby already knows his championship's done.
I agree. I would.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically, I see this ending only one way outside of any sort of unforeseen circumstances, but they're just going to run 1-2 unless one of them gets caught out and the other one can go ahead and just try and have a good race at the very end here within the last maybe 10 laps or so.
I do feel that this could lead to a swap with these two. I wouldn't honestly put it past the way the humbleness of Dan Kirby. He isn't that overly worried about the win. He plays the team game a lot as well, and he knows that Barker needs this win to get within touching distance of Herlock going into Bahrain. And obviously if we see Herlock at Bahrain, that would be good to bring this second place championship up for a fight here. So I can see these guys swapping over at some point, and I think that Kirby may allow Barker to take this victory. In the Hypercar AMS, however, Chen has jumped Angelidis. That's very interesting, and has put Angelidis 12.8 seconds back from Jerry Chen. Not quite sure where on the racetrack that took place. We are going to have a look and try and find it. At the moment, Paul's working frantically. I think we might end up having to miss that one. Cam Barker taking it easy there as well. Goes past one of the GT3s. I think that was Alan Holden. He's just cleared. But I think these guys could end up swapping this round. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Barker takes this victory to help with that championship, to help move within 1-2 points of Dan Herlock if he takes it. Lap 59 of 101. You can see on the left-hand side at the moment, Hypercar AMS, Meyer out in front, Goncalves ahead of Chen and Angelidis. That's imperative in their own championship of the Hypercar AMS. Goncalves is only 13 back at the moment. He is gaining points on Jerry Chen, so it is currently at the moment Jerry Chen is going to score, sitting in that third place. He will score 15 points. Goncalves will get 18, so Goncalves will pull 3 out of him going into the final race in Bahrain as well. That could be another championship coming in to really heat up over the last one. JT Tammy, David Jean Reyes is separating Jean and JT Tammy at the moment. Tammy seems to be a lap ahead of everybody else, which is an absolute
That's crazy.
Absolutely
That's crazy.
bonkers, isn't it, really, for JT Tammy? The fact that he's a lap ahead of Reyes. I expect Jean to take that second place back as he passes Reyes, who goes in pit lane. But again, that could wrap this up for JT Tammy going into that final race. We'll have to see how the final standings. I think he's going to be about 17 maybe points ahead going into the final race in Bahrain. And of course, we've got Miller has jumped Alexander McQuarrie, but I got a funny feeling that could be pit stop related there, Jim, on that one.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if it is because, okay. Yeah, because McQuarrie had a nice, comfortable lead out there. He was, I think, 14, 15 seconds ahead and just cruising. So I'm sure that'll all change out here. This is Miller coming in right now, actually. So
yeah, so there we go.
Balance itself right back out.
Very slow on the entry.
Yeah,
very slow.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier. One of the hypercars coming in did exactly the same thing there. It's must be a little weird, either something in the physics of the game or something, maybe, because it's doing it to all the cars.
Yeah, Ross, can you enlighten us on that?
Yeah, they always come in, like you were saying, just a little bit slow on there. I was just thinking about the championship though with Miller. He does need to have a really good finish here.
Oh, no.
I think he's going to probably get passed by Adam Gray. McQuarrie obviously needs to do his best. He just needs to basically not DNF. He has to finish sixth or better to be able to get the points.
I believe we're going to see a money shift here. Gutierrez just blew it up.
Yeah, and 9X8 has gone puff, unfortunately, for Johnny.
How do you do that? He should not be able to. They have downshift protection, so unless he's done a pop into neutral and then somehow switch to a lower gear and throw it in that way, that's the only way you can really circumvent that is going in like that. But you can't.
Feels like that scene from Days of Thunder when he blew it up intentionally. You know, check the rev limiters. No, that's unfortunate though.
Yeah, I'm going on a mission. I'll find out. Just drop Johnny a message and see what comes of it as well.
Look at you, name dropping.
Barker in pit lane, Suvik in pit lane. It's not hard, mate. I just wrote it in general chat and tagged Johnny in the process. Don't worry, we're not overly, we're not friends on that one. This is Johnny Gutierrez on
Miller
board.
too fast.
Oh, Miller picked up a penalty on pit road, huh? That's going to be brutal for him.
It looked like he got it just before there, so I'm wondering. That's
weird.
Yeah, I mean, you are downshifting there, but again, you should have that downshift protection keeping it from doing any harm to the engine. The only other thing I could think of is if maybe he was really stressing the engine earlier and maybe he's running too much blanking, and that's hurt it over time. I mean, it's not particularly
well,
hot out.
It looks like Barker's just had a yellow flag moment as well. Johnny's still typing in chat. We'll find out what went on from him very, very shortly. John Mayer out in front of the hypercar. I am 17 seconds over Vinicius Concalves now as well. Great job from big scream in my ear roll of "oh no" from Paul Glover.
I got a feeling this is going to be a Barker moment here.
Yeah, coming out of pit lane. Oh dear.
We're good.
Oh
No, going through two.
Okay.
3, got it wrong out of 3.
Hang on to it.
Nope, ends up doing a lovely pirouette going out of 3. Johnny Gutierrez, I love this one. My favourite wall, decided to try and slap it a little harder this time. Lol, game over, lost concentration. Last lap, my car turned into a diesel.
Oh. Well, that's one way to break the engine. Smack it against the wall.
Yeah, I wonder what wall he hit though, because it didn't look like he hit any wall going through turn 7.
Well, I think he may have caught one earlier, and that's just where it died on him, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he clearly didn't hit a wall there, no.
No, Maya going in pit lane, Concalves in pit lane, Joey Chen 29 seconds back, Angelidis behind that one. That's the top 4 in the Hypercar AMS. Kirby in pit lane, Dahlgren in pit lane. So a couple of people in pit lane is going to be close from Barker and Kirby. Well, maybe not so close now.
No, it's not now, yeah.
Yeah, Barker at that moment, unfortunately. So it does look like Kirby should be able to take the lead quite comfortably.
He's he's already overcome that first spin, which had him, I believe, at one point 14 or 16 seconds behind, and he recovered from all of that. And now he's going to have to do it all over again.
Yeah, we're going to find out how this one pans out, find out what the gap is, as Kirby's out of pit lane, I believe, already. 5.8 ahead of Molin. What is he ahead of Barker? We'll see if we can get that. He's a little bit. What is he at the moment? Cameron Barker.
It's adjusting.
18. Yeah, we're gonna have to give it a minute.
Yeah, it's still adjusting.
I think it's about 17 seconds from Dan Kirby to Cameron Barker. Molin in the middle. It was about 17 seconds. Gutierrez's wall. It was the first long sweeping right-hander crossing the start-finish line, turn 1. There's a wall that doesn't move on the left-hand side, he said.
I hate when they put those there.
Yeah, he puts a wall. That was on the, that's probably going to be on the exit, isn't it? On the grass, I think. He may have been out that far and gone and hit that wall. So maybe by the looks of it, Gutierrez has caused himself some drama through turn number 1. But Dan Kirby, no such drama at the moment. John Mayer has got Concalves in behind. I think that is pit stop orientated. We just I'm surprised that's 2.4 seconds. It was over 9-10 seconds there, Jim. I'm not quite sure how these guys end up this close together.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wonder if we had some sort of drama there that slowed Mayer up a good bit here. I'm looking at that first sector. It's a weird time there. I guess is that from him pitting? Because it show.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Concalves took a short stop, 10 seconds quicker than Mayer. Angelidis is right in behind Chen as well. That was a 12-second gain that Angelidis was behind Jerry Chen. So it'd be interesting to see how
that's going to be a good battle
plans out as well. Yeah, we're just dropping down into nightfall. Ross, the difficulties are going from day to night. Are they as complicated as we presume they are?
Well, yeah, just like Jim and I were talking about, it definitely changes exactly where you're trying to brake. The shadows are some of the worst parts going in because you're split between bright and dark things right on the track, right in your braking zones that get distracting. Once you finally get into a spot where you don't have to deal with that as much and it's fully night, then yeah, it's not so bad. But unfortunately for them, they're not going to spend a whole lot of time in that kind of zone. So they just have to struggle through right now. And that's going to be a crucial moment for some of these drivers that are right on the edge and really close to each other, really having to keep that concentration. They just have to make sure that as this transition goes through, they hold it together.
Plus, there's a huge amount of grip that comes back into the track right here as these temperatures start to drop, and managing that, if you're still a little conservative, where if somebody, feels that grip and finds that grip a little better, they can make up a world of time right here in this kind of stretch where, adjusting to these track temperatures changing, because in the course of 30 minutes here, the track temperature could drop 15 degrees, in certain places.
100%.
Yeah, that's always the imperative things to look out for as well. This would be one of the areas where gains can be gained and losses can be expensive. It sort of made a lot bigger here as well if you don't get this right, this transition between day and night. So hopefully these drivers have been practicing this at the moment. John Mayer extending that gap over Concalves to 3.2 seconds. Michael Lock in there, Jerry Chen, George Angelidis in there as well. Molin due in pit lane, 22 laps. They can go about 24, so I'm going to guess over the next couple of laps, Robert Molin in that Valkyrie may be diving into pit lane. Fuel tank wise for the Valkyrie, Ross, is it any different to some of the other cars?
Well, we've seen Robin Molin, obviously not in size, but he's managed to really stretch out a lot of the fuel coming out of there. he's just been able to do a really great job of controlling how much power he's putting through. Now, he obviously had those issues earlier on in the race, and it's hard to say how much those might impact it. But as we saw at Coda, he was able to use that fuel advantage to just eke out ahead of Dan Kirby and get that win. So I think he might be trying to do a little bit more of the same strategy here today to overcome those earlier incidents. But now here he comes in.
Yeah, during pit lane, there we go. We knew it was coming for Robert Molan. Into pit lane he comes. Maya, 4.3 seconds there. Cameron Barker, that's the back marker he's going through. He is just about to overtake second place away. Cam Barker goes back up 16, 17 seconds after his incident going through turn 3. Cost him all that time. So we're going to find out how this one goes. Simon Suvic clearing Robert Molan. We expect Magnus Dahlgren to do the same thing as well. I think Molan will be coming in fifth here. Done and dusted. DNFs, Johnny Gutierrez, Eric Monet, Maximilian Petrovsky, Kataranakis and Elko Bussink there, and Jazz Whitfield also DNF'd out the race here as well. Not bad. We've only had 6 so far, Jim, out of a possible 20 car field.
Yeah, which is kind of what we talked about before the race started. You know, I hoped it was going to go this way, and we haven't had a lot of drama, and a couple of them have been self-induced. You know, not even incidents with another car. So overall, it's been clean so far. But, I believe we just got in our ear that George has had an off track here.
Yeah, it looks like George has been off the side of the circuit. That's not going to help his situation. 4.4 seconds back now. This is probably about 2 laps ago, we think, where he has been off the circuit. This is coming up through turn 2, through the left-hander, into 3. Is he going to get it wrong? He is. He just runs it wrong down the exit road. No real dramas for him there, Ross. Not as bad as some of them, the one we've seen that have hit the wall.
No, not at all. And that's, again, this is something that a lot of the drivers are going to have to struggle with right now, especially as they are going. It's obviously much darker now than it was just a few laps ago when George had that incident. But he's struggling with the tires right now. I don't know if they're going to try and come in and do anything about that. Obviously, on the NARS race, drivers almost every single pit stop they're coming in and taking tires. So we'll see if some of those drivers who were doing like what Tim and I talked about earlier in the race with the hards on the front, if they're able to double stint that coming into the end, or if they're going to try and get some fresh rubber and just maximize the snot out of it going into the last stint.
Jerry Chen there, 1:10.799. Goncalves 1:11.1. About half a second quicker there for Vinicius last time, for Jerry Chen last time around as well. So Chen on a bit of a mission to see if he can catch Goncalves. He's got 12 seconds to make up. It's going to be a little bit hard on that one. That was off the live timing page provided to us by CMS, with a Jerry Chen on a 1:10.799 and Goncalves on a 1:11.157. So we'll find out how it goes here as well, with JT Tammy leading the GT3s, 80 seconds in front. What can we say about JT Jim? Absolutely flying.
Incredible. I mean, the kind of lead that he's built up against this field, I mean, it's almost like he's running a different class of car. He's so much faster. It's ridiculous. Everything's working for him tonight. Obviously, Junt is there in second place, and certainly Junt has had his fair share of troubles. Well, that was close. Fair share of troubles today, but man, JT he's just running a different race. Something that we were talking about a second ago was, there he goes. Oh, that's Junt again in the wall, isn't it? That's the same.
When he's online. He's on the track.
Yeah, we'll have a look back at that once this all manages to get itself sorted out. There was David Junt, unfortunately, in that Mercedes-Benz. Goncalves 1:15.7 last time out. Jerry Chen 1:12.6. So Chen just pulled 3 seconds out of Goncalves. That's a big old loss there, Jim. 3 seconds over 1 lap for Vinicius Goncalves.
Yeah, well, I think it's entirely. He probably ran into some traffic or something. You know that you can get those kind of fluctuations if you catch a GT3 car at the wrong time or something. It's a replay here. We got, I think it's going to be Stephen Miller heading up into turn 3 here.
Oh, is he going to come off the exit?
Down.
He is.
Yep,
Down he
there
goes.
yep.
Over the grass, over the bump. Coming out the other side. Didn't manage to keep it going forward though, Ross, which is always important. Here's David Judd's situation, going through turn 3 and 4. Down the hill he goes. So, oh,
He got pumped.
Was that Molin in that Valkyrie?
That was Moling, yeah. See, that right there is exactly why that area was red on the track map earlier, right there. I mean,
that's a lot of aggression there, Jim, to just push through. I know he's pushing to try and make up the positions from losing out earlier in the race, but that's not how you do it.
Yeah, that's something we're going to have to look back here as well throughout this whole race at the moment. Everybody in the field has got medium tyres on. Team on Suvic running NARS.
well, he's had hards on the whole race though. He's had hards on since the beginning of the race.
Haven't they? Was it the front he had him on or the rear?
No,
the one, wasn't it?
No, Suvic's had him on all 4 tires the whole race. Whoever it was, I think it was Van Cancalves, he had him on the front and mediums on the back.
Okay, well, there we go. Simon Suvic on hard tyres, the only one in the whole field, whether it's a hypercar or a GT3, and has managed to still go out there at the same time.
What?
Yeah, great racing to it from everybody.
With the track temperatures dropping like this, I would think that those hard tires are going to get a little nasty. They're going to be tough because the track temperatures being this low, they're going to get slick, I believe.
Is that the right way around, Ross?
Yeah, well, I mean, even if the track temperature isn't doing as much to cool them off, if they're pushing too hard, it's not going to make a difference. If they're heating them up, like I said, a lot of drivers are going to try and get fresh rubber on there as soon as possible, just because they are pushing them so much coming out of the corners. They're pushing them leaning out through like turns 5 and whatnot, where you're just putting so much pressure on that right rear. You just you use it up, and if your car is already basically set to be kind of loose and pointy, then that's just going to make the situation so much worse by the end of your stint.
Yeah, we'll jump back up front with Dan Kirby. He's got 9.4 seconds over Cam Barker. Suvic 12.2 back from the leader, from Cameron Barker, sorry. Got my teeth muddled up there. 13 seconds now from Barker. So Barker has got time to try and catch Kirby. Kirby, if there is going to be a team swap coming down into this final race of the season at Bahrain, to pull Barker up to Dan Herlock, it can still happen without any threat. Oh, but Team on Suvic getting the both of them as Kirby just manages to go through 5. David Junt, I'm a little bit worried here, Jim, because he's just going up through turn 1 at the moment, with Ryan Paulbert-Reyes not far behind him.
Yeah, I don't know how his car is still going, to be honest with you. He has had a couple of big wall hits tonight, and it's been interesting. I just Junt that Mercedes is tough, man. It's really quite impressive that he's still in second place. It really is.
Yeah, but is that still, Ross, a compliment on his part, or is that failings of the likes of Reyes, Overton and Holden in behind him?
I think it's 100% the situation that he's found himself in. I mean, we've watched him go through so many incidents of his own doing, some not also, but I mean, the car has been through the wars. It's absolutely secondhand at this point. It's so damaged that even if you took away the fall off on pace from that alone, just the time lost from all the spinning and going off track, it's just incredible that he's able to stay ahead of these guys. And obviously, like Ryan Paulbert-Reyes got a little bit of damage at the front. We know that he had that incident earlier on. So, like, they're all suffering a little bit from that. But just imagine if Junt had avoided all of those incidents throughout the race, how much closer he'd be to JT Taman with the pace he does have.
Probably about a lap.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I still don't think. I think JT's just got this one. He's had so much pace. I don't know. JT just looks absolutely on fire throughout this race at this moment in time. So I don't know how much difference it would have made for David Junt. His main mission at the moment should be to try and stay ahead of Ryan Paulbert-Reyes. and that gap, of course, sitting at the moment, I believe it's about 3 seconds, I think it is.
3.5 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, but Paul Reyes, of course, in a Porsche that does and can kill you as soon as look at you. So we'll find out how he gets on here as we're well into nightfall now. Ross, we've gone from that day to the day to night crossover. We're now pitch black. Where's my braking point going down into 10A, 10B now?
Well, it's wherever the car thinks it needs to be, just depending on how much you've abused it. But yeah, it's going to be a tough run going into the end here. We've got not too many laps left the last time we checked there. So it's drivers are going to really need to pick out where they're going. And certainly not only the track, but other cars coming around them. Those headlights stick out so much more, especially as a GT. You see them coming up, and the rate of closure is just so much more than you really can expect as it's going through. And as the lighting changes, your perception of how that closing is just altered slightly. So you might see some situations where drivers are trying to push through and they think that the driver ahead sees what they're doing, and that's actually not the case. Oh wow, lots of sparks going up there. Dan Kirby as he's coming around and loading that car right into the track.
Yeah, Kirby getting it down low on that one. Sparks are flying on board with John Mayer, leading the Hypercar AMS. At this moment in time, 7 seconds over Concalves. Concalves ahead of Jerry Chen. Michael Locke ahead of George as well. On the race, on the track itself, George in the Hypercar AMS, of course, in 11th place, in 4th overall. So, yeah, George has got some work to do to get an improvement on that one. There is JT Tammy for the Dark Thunder Racing Aston Martin Evo GT3. E-Busink says the Aston Martin from Elko is too easy to drive. Ross, what do you think?
I think it's relative to who you are as a driver. Ryan Pulvert-Reyes, Paul Ibbotson, both of them love the way that the 911 is. I would say that it's probably a car that's set up to be certainly one of the easy. Oh no, we got Alan Holden off at turn 1 inside. Looks like he's had a moment there coming out of the pits. I'm wondering if he's been done up by somebody or if that was just on his own.
I'm sure we'll have a look back as well.
So is he talking about the GT3 Aston is easy to drive, or is he talking about?
Yeah, I think Elko's naturally in the GT3. He's in a Ferrari 296.
Okay.
So I would have thought he's talking about that Aston Martin GT3. Here is the replay that we were hoping for.
It is a very settled car, isn't it? It feels.
50-50
it almost
split.
feels like a luxury car. The way you know what I mean, like the way it takes curb.
Oh, hold on. Yeah.
Hang on to it. Oh, nice. Yeah, the way it takes curbs and stuff. It seems almost like a, you know what I mean, like a luxury car ride over the curbs compared to a, you know what I mean, just a little softer and takes them easier. It doesn't throw the car around as much.
Yeah, it is heavy. It's actually, it has one of the heavier, Mullen coming up through here. It's definitely.
Well, he is aggressive,
down.
isn't he?
Yeah. So it's, when you extract that pace, you just have to make sure it's really settled. We're going to see here. Headlights are coming.
Oh, no, come on. Oh, no.
That's such a tough spot. Just like in
is.
turn 5, anytime that you get the car kind of messed up there, and we saw it when Mulling was off earlier on, as all the cars came through, each one of us were clenching because we know you're at maximum pace coming up through that turn 1 segment, and seeing a car just stretch across the track, you have no time to react.
Yeah.
Nailed by the 968.
Holden in pit lane. I think that's really difficult though as well, because you can look at the relative and think, oh, I've got 6 seconds, and then before you know it, 6 seconds in a hypercar turns out to be very, very quick indeed, and they were flying at him coming round that corner. So fair play, nobody made contact with Alan Holden. Holden, however, is in pit lane. Kirby still out in front. Gap's half now, down to 4.2 seconds. I still feel that there's going to be a swap at the front of the Hypercar Pros.
There's no doubt Kirby's waiting on it. I mean, Kirby is definitely, he's made up, that's twice in this race, he's made up 16 plus second gaps. I mean, that's a half a lap, practically.
Yeah,
No, I'm not saying he's going.
Wrong person, Jim. Wrong
Yeah, I know.
You can't answer him back. He's just in area role, like we got schizophrenic.
I
It's
got
fine.
you. Well, I am schizophrenic, so there's that. No.
Oh, well, there you go. You're hearing more than one voice then, so that's absolutely amazing for us.
The point.
Has he managed to get his socks on, ladies and gentlemen, in the morning?
The point I'm making is, if you look at Kirby's last lap, it was a 1:13. Barker's was a 1:10. Clearly, Kirby could be putting down 1:11s for sure.
I think you might be right. I've got 2.8 again.
I mean, yeah, it's no insult. I'm not trying to insult. I think he's there. I think their plan is to make sure that Cameron Barker wins this race, and he has the best chance to take second place in the championship. So they have a 1-2 finish.
I think you're right. I think you are right. I think that's what's going to happen for CMS Pro Red there. I think that's exactly the situation. They've taken the team championships pretty much. They want 1-2 in the Hypercar Pro Championship as well. And I think there's going to be a swap within the next 20 laps or so. These guys are definitely going to swap over. Barker goes straight through the middle. Yeah, I think unless he spins again, Jim, I still think they've got time to move him back again.
No, I mean, they got 22 seconds on Subic right now over second place. So there's plenty of gap there. I mean, they certainly can work their magic, as long as Barker's car doesn't get tore up somewhere along the way. When was our last pit stops here? I guess I don't have all the information.
Yeah. So it's been shouted to us, John Mayer, 17 laps ago in the Hypercars was the last. Everybody else at Gilles Lalonde in between that as well. So we'll see how these guys get on. 1.7 seconds now from Barker to Kirby.
So we're going to get one more pit stop, and that's going to be it for the Hypercars. They're going to be able to go the distance from there, it looks like.
Yeah, that's about right, Ross, isn't it?
Yeah.
They could go, really, they could pit right now if they were in a bad traffic situation or something.
Ross, all the technical data we need in that comment there as well. Thanks so much for that. At the same time, but Dan Kirby's still out in front. Barker in pit lane. Barker's gone in earlier than Kirby, and we'll see how he comes out here as well. Don't forget, he did pit earlier than him in the last time, but of course Barker lost it on the exit. This is the swap over moment.
So the question is, does he take tires right here and get him some nice fresh tires to finish out this race on? Never mind. I looked up. I saw Suvic's hard tires, and I thought Cameron had changed to hard, and I'm like, why would he change to hard?
Reading the wrong one there, Jim. What do you reckon?
Yes, I know.
I mean, just looking at the gap that they have right now, I don't see them taking that. I mean, they do have the two Toyotas behind them between Subic and Dahlgren. So, they, like I said before earlier in the broadcast, track position is so important. They're not going to really have that many laps left. So, I mean, to throw tires on now, unless the car was absolutely just shaking itself apart because of tire wear, I'd say you just work on the double stint, trying to close this thing up at the end.
And if you were to take tires here with 17 laps or 18 laps to go, you'd clearly put softs on at this point, right?
Yeah, well, the mediums, yeah, in this case.
Oh, the medium. Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah,
the softer,
You might even consider doing something like just doing the rears or one of the sides. Maybe left sides only, just so that way you can kind of load the car a little bit more there. But you wouldn't really need to do anything that's just going to hold you up in the pits. I really don't know that they're going to take tires. It's a little bit too close for comfort, I think, for them to risk it.
Yeah, you can see in our arms on that one. Vinicius Concalves carried on. Mayer pit lane, Angelides pit lane, Chen pit lane, Monet out, Petrovsky out. 4 championship contenders all fighting it out in the Hypercar arms as we go into the last 17 laps here, ladies and gentlemen. Is there going to be a CMS Pro Red swap? Is Dan Kirby going to give this win to Cam Barker? Don't go anywhere. It is going to be an absolutely epic 17 laps until the end. McQuarrie still wrapping up that GT3. He's going to take the championship. done and dusted. LMGT3s, you can see JT Tammy 1 lap ahead of everybody else. It is, doesn't even worry about it at the moment for JT Tammy. Goncalves in the pits in the Hypercar AMS with Maya, Chen and Angelidis in behind. Contact from David Schunt along on the bottom of the screen there. He's having to go with Ryan Paulbert Reyes. And David Schunt, full position, dives up the inside.
Oh, that's not good.
Maya! John
the
Mayer
moment.
caught up in the Akuri Mistral Porsche 963 at the hands of David Schunt in the GT3, who's had drama all the way through. Goncalves is out of pit lane. He's going up the hill. Vinicius Goncalves has taken the lead in the Hypercar AMS. And to what drama? Ladies and gentlemen, you won't find this drama on EastEnders, Emmerdale, Coronation Street, Neighbours or Home and Away or even Friends or Cheers. But we've got it here in VWSC. We have got the action taking shape. Kirby's in pit lane. This is where the swap's going to come over now. Surely Barker's going to take that lead. And now it will be Cameron Barker who's going to wrap it up. But drama in the Hypercar AMS there, Jim.
Incredible. I mean, wow. Meyer has been, in control of this race for a long time now. And just to have that incident happen right there coming out.
Yeah, George Angelidis back in pit lane. It could be his 5th stop here. Not quite sure what he's got himself up to. Or is he even stopping? Or is he just driving through? I think he must have got a penalty because he has just driven through. He didn't even stop anyone.
He must have missed
penalty for George Angelidis. That's definitely not going to do him any favours there. As Kirby, pit lane, is he on his way out? It'd be great to see. I think Barker's still going to end up behind him, but depending on how big the gap's going to be, is where he will be. Drama in this one, Ross. Drama right the way down to the end of the race.
That's so heartbreaking to see for George because that's almost the same type of thing. This would be kind of interesting to watch. So he's taking a look at.
Oh man!
I was just reacting to that situation. That was so close, right behind him. He managed to miss both the Porsche and the Peugeot, but
spun it in the process.
Yeah, that was. He came in deep though. He did come in deep. He didn't tighten that up as much as he could have. I'm not going to say that's John Mayer's fault for that, but they were running off in front of him, and he didn't give him a load of room on the other side of the racetrack there, Ross. I've got to be honest.
Well, I mean the closing right there. It's hard to see there, and I mean he gave himself enough room for that particular situation. It just devolved even further more than what it probably he expected. I mean, it does happen. And just thank goodness that he was able to avoid contact. That was I couldn't tell if that was
Lalonde, because Gutierrez was further up, wasn't he? And Goncalves was further up as well on that one. But Kirby Barker 6.5 seconds, Molin 7 seconds back from that. They've still got time. I do feel Molin's got one more stop to come though, because he is a stop shy of everybody else. We are just about to go to another dramatic replay here, and this is on the nose. Oh, through we go onto the grass. We've managed to avoid it, and oh God, he went backwards then as well. Look at that. Just avoids it there as well.
I mean, good job by all of them there, really. I mean, each one of them had a part in that avoided each other. That was pretty impressive. So we went through the pit stop cycle, and we assumed that Cameron Barker was going to assume the lead. Barker's now further behind than he was before the pit stop by 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's all right. That will come down. Molin in 3rd place at the moment. Got a pit stop to come. For Robert Molin, should allow Timon Suvic. Everybody else is on 4. Molin at the moment is on 3. So he's got a pit stop to come here currently. McQuarrie in pit lane. I don't think he's got anything to worry about. He's about a lap ahead. 6.5 seconds. 6 seconds now for Barker and Kirby. And we will.
She's stuck.
Yeah, but there's not a whole group effort here, Jim. He kind of had both of them before. I don't think he's pushing this scenario
Yeah,
as
no,
much as
he's
he
not.
could have.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can see Barker back there behind him, and he is closing it up pretty quick. He's going to take him on the straight here when he's got a nice, clean opportunity to get by him. Saying that, they're going to run it right down here into 10.
Yeah, Kirby does go through on both of them there, Ross, as well.
Yeah, he's going to do that. That's so unfortunate for George. You know, he's actually kind of lining himself up for a decent run here at the end, and it just kind of started falling apart, kind of like it was for the Real Acura team during the Real 10 hour.
Yeah, well, we're going to find out what goes on now. 4 seconds to Kirby and Barker. 6.5 from Concalves to Mayer. 5.9. This would be such a shame, Jim, for John to lose this one now, because he has been at the front for pretty much the whole entire race. To lose it with 13, 14 laps to go, that's going to be a tough one to swallow.
No, it is. It absolutely is. But that is endurance racing, and the conditions changed. He ended up running it in there a little bit deep. Maybe he missed his braking point because now it's nighttime. You know, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that can happen. That's why they always say these things are never over. And a lot of times it doesn't work out that way, and it's no big deal. But then you get a situation like this. But I mean, you know, he's only 4 seconds back. He's still got enough laps to make that up. He's been fast all race.
Yeah, no, I do agree. I think even from a driver's perspective, Ross, that's tough, right?
Oh yeah, and a dozen laps left. There's hardly any time to really do anything. You've got to be perfect, and even then.
Well, he must be in traffic because he is dropping time. He just dropped 2 seconds like it was nothing right there.
You can see it's the road.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised though coming this late on. Last laps around 1:12.1 for Kirby, 1:11.4 for Barker. They've been reflected on this throughout this race here. From the moment they realised that you know, Kirby had run the championship, that gap's been coming down as soon as Barker got into second place here. Replay on your screen at this moment in time of Gilles Lalonde on the entry to 5. Nice Tokyo Drift style run. And he held it as well. Great job from Gilles Lalonde there, Jim.
Yeah, that was actually quite impressive. Yeah, that was fun. I don't know what happened to Meyer there, but he's lost 3 seconds on this lap somehow, or on the last lap and a half.
Traffic, I think, would be my guess. I'm probably guessing it's traffic. From a couple
he went from 4 seconds to almost 8 behind.
Yeah, but that's always possible if there's traffic in and around them. Not heard any different in our ear roll, Jim, so I'm going to presume we can put it down to that, as Cam Barker is stuck in behind this 9X8 here. I think that actually is Concalves there, if I can't quite see the number, but I think that could be Concalves in the Hypercar AM lead. Barker really needs him out of the way and could do with him out of the way quick. Not going to lie on that one as we go to a replay here. This is going down the hill from 4.
Yep, stuck behind a GT3 car there going down through the S's. That'll slow you up, and going to end up probably staying behind him through 5. Nope, he's going to take him right here, it looks like.
Yeah, that's on the exit of 5, but that could explain a lot though, Ross, couldn't it, why we've lost so much time?
Yeah, it's going to, and they're at a point in the race cycle where you really don't want to take any unnecessary risks. I mean, you don't want to do that at any point in the race, but if you're in a decent position to make anything happen, if you like where you are, then yeah, you're absolutely not going to do anything to jeopardize that. But
no, absolutely not. I'm going to jump in here. Can we go back to Barker a minute, please? Can we go back? Oh, he's managed to clear that car, but that 9X8 would have been doing my nutting. I know full well you do not allow jumping out of the way, but that would have been absolutely annoying the living daylights out of me. That was a lap and a half in front of Barker when there's been plenty of opportunity to just lift in the 10A. Let him go through. You fought him all the way around the lap. That would just do my bonking. I know the rules of CMS. I know you don't have to jump in the way, but don't make it difficult. Don't defend and all the other jargon. But that's just annoying. Barker went back out from 4.2 to nearly 6 seconds being stuck behind that car. That's just bonkers.
Well, And also, like you were saying earlier on in the broadcast, you know, he may have been doing that purposely just to not shift lanes all of a sudden and kind of throw a spanner in there and give him some gray hairs if he was trying to go for a move somewhere, and then all of a sudden Milan just decides to just blow ankles and brake and let him try and get by.
Well, there was a couple of times on the run down in the 10A, you know, Barker pulled out and then had to slot back in because there was just no motion from the car in front. They even signalled that he was going to allow him through. I don't know. I don't know. The frustration would have been real for me.
Well, it's possible that maybe
Well,
they had some interactions throughout the race too. Maybe
that
he
was-
didn't want to let him by.
That was Goncalves, right?
I think it was Goncalves, but
Okay, well, he's got Meyer. He's
Jim,
got Meyer 2 seconds behind.
I get it. I fully get it. But 2 seconds behind is not going to... He's not 2 seconds behind. John Mayer wasn't 2 seconds behind at that point. If that was Goncalves, and I understand he's racing for the Hypercar Am and he's not going to want to lose time and all the yada, yada, I get it.
Uh-oh.
Goncalves has
And
lost
now-
out his line on his own anyway.
Yeah, even more reason to not let him by.
Well, he ain't behind him now, is he? He's off the side of the blinking circuit. So, you know, but is this the same situation?
Oh.
This Porsche doesn't have to let you by either. There you go. There you go. It's the same scenario. The Porsche didn't lift. They come into dramas on the exit.
That's absolutely what the right thing to do is important for that 9X8. Uh-oh, is that Miller off the side?
Yeah, Stephen Miller running down the sidewall there as well. Coming in 93 laps of 101. John Mayer in second place, now 1.7 behind Goncalves. At the same time, well, 1.4, 1.3 going up the hill, 1.2, 1.1 by the time we got below a second before we even got to the top of the hill. So I don't know what Goncalves has gone on, but whatever it's done, he's caused himself some drama as we go to a replay right as two leaders of their class come right next to each other in the race. 10A and 10B. This is Alan Holden, gets a nice little touch up the bum from that Aston Martin that looks like JT Tammy, and unfortunately has pushed him on there as well. John Mayer, yeah, that was Alan Holden getting hit from JT Tammy in the Aston Martin. Goncalves now half a second out in front here, Jim, down into 10A. Is he going to be able to hold this place?
I'm thinking that Goncalves might have got a little damage when that Porsche tapped him on the front end. He hit him right on the wheel on the front end. This is going to be some interesting. He's on the... We'll see. Oh, he's going to pull right by him. Yeah, right by him. Yeah. Yeah, I think he might have got a little damage there, man. I think he might be done right there.
Here he comes.
Oh, he's trying to
It's
fight back. Look at this.
The corner. Mayer managing to hold on. Goncalves has given it the good old college try, but I don't think he's going to manage to do it. I think John Mayer now will just be comfortably opening up the door. There's somebody coming out pit lane, and Goncalves, that was 8 attempts back. It looked like Stephen Miller's livery, bright and beautiful in the lights of Road Atlanta as they went past there. Second coming down the hill. Goncalves does look like he's got damage, whether or not it was off contact with that Porsche. Well, we're never going to know, to be blatantly honest with you, but I think that's it, considering that's the only drama he's had. Jim, I think that we can safely say that may be where the problem comes from.
Yeah, I that's all you can assume at this point. You know, he definitely got hit right on that right-hand side front tire. You know, we may have been wrong about Kirby and Barker. If they wanted to turn the lead over here, we're 6 laps to go, and he hasn't turned it over. He could have easily waited for Barker to catch him at this point, and he hasn't. I'm questioning whether they're going to turn it over or not.
I'll be very surprised if they don't. I think most of us
Me too,
will.
but yeah, me too. But you would think that they would have already executed that if it was going to happen. They've got 35 seconds back to Subic.
They're not going to give it away too early, are they? Let's be real. Goncalves and Meyer going into one. Meyer still dealing with the traffic. David Shunt up the hill there.
This.
He gets lifts a little bit. Look at that. Lifts, loses belly. Any time I look at all, did David Shunt just lifting slightly to allow him through to try and not cause him any more drama on that one on there.
You're
Well done, David
gonna
Shunt.
beat that dead. You're gonna beat that dead horse for a while, huh?
Dude, I don't know how they cope. I really don't.
Getting the chainsaw out with it.
Just drives
I'm
me.
telling you.
Hey, if you took a hint from what I was saying about David Judd, that's entirely up to you. You know, your mind was in that position clearly, but you know that's how you handle the blue flag. Slightly lift guard up the hill and allow them to go through, and you can get on with your own race here again.
I think that's a fun argument, and I think you could argue that either way. I can tell you this much: I wouldn't have lifted with the guy running second place 2 seconds behind me. Oh, there's Miller.
You're trying to stay in front of the guy in front of you. You overcook it and going off at turn 10. Point taken. No words. No words, Ross Smith. No words.
I mean, Stephen Miller's had a little bit of a race. We saw him. Was that when he came in? Yeah, must have been earlier on when he came in. So yeah, he's obviously having a little bit of troubles there. It's a real shame too, because this is going to be a race where Stephen Miller had a real good chance at actually making a big difference and make some moves up into the points, or at least have a good chance of setting himself up for potential at the end of the season.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that now. 2.9 seconds from the boys in front. I wouldn't be surprised, just to keep suspense, that this takes place on the final lap.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, it'll keep the drama.
It'll be a Barrichello-Schumacher moment in the Ferrari, where Barrichello slowed down on the final lap, well, final straight actually, and allowed Schumacher to go through, much to the disgust of
as long as it's not a David Coulthard moment.
Yeah.
To see, I guess.
It was Coulthard, and I don't remember who it was that hit him, but it was Schumacher, wasn't it?
Yeah, Schumacher rifled him at Zandvoort, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the final couple of corners in the wet, he pulled up, and then Schumacher went off his barnet, chased Coulthard down pit lane, and started firing up at him there as well. Personally, you don't drive, whatever. I'm not getting involved on that one. That was the great, obviously, Michael Schumacher there as well. Going into turn 7, Kirby, literally 2 seconds. Last time around, a 1:10.1. Barker on a 1:09.6.
And he's digging. He's closing the gap up.
Yeah, absolutely. On that one. Every other part of this race in the Hypercar AMS, 2 seconds for Meyer, with Concalves behind him, LMGT3, JT Tammy 1 lap out in front, Alex McQuarrie 1 lap out in front as well. It is mainly the Hypercar Pros that's going to come into fruition, and we'll find out whether or not this swap is going to take place. Ross, you know Dan Kirby better than anybody. Is that something they're going to look at doing, knowing how Kirby is so team orientated?
I would typically say no, because they have the team's championship wrapped up. However, knowing that they have such a rivalry with the other teams around them, it might just be something that they decide to do so that way they just cement that season even more. But in both the teams and the drivers. So Dan probably wouldn't just give him the position and give him the win, but I'm 50-50 on it.
50-50. Okay. That's Robert Molin in the Aston Martin Vantage, just about to dive up the inside, literally at the GT3. Not entirely sure what the point of that move was, Robin, considering, you're on a straight. You literally barely had to wait 3 seconds. Well, I don't know why you're flashing the lights. If I was that Aston Martin, I'd be full beaming you down that back straight by now. Flash my lights all the way down at the moment and get the missus to throw the spoons at you at the same time on the one. Because that was a little bit of a dive up the inside there.
Moling is not exactly patient, is he?
No.
No, dude. I can't even think of an analogy. He has no patience whatsoever. Literally, he barely had to wait seconds before he was on a long old straight to make that move. That is literally a 0 IQ moment for me, from Robert Molin.
I would say that, this is probably reflective of his
Suvic having a go.
Of his race.
What happened in Sector 1 there? There's a yellow flag in Sector 1.
I think there's something dramatic happening up there.
Yeah, I think we've got
two laps to go, too.
Let's have a look now at this replay. That's one of the X-Aces. Is that Lalonde?
Yeah, I think that's
it's Gilles Lalonde and the Aston Martin.
He goes, this isn't good.
Not
good at all.
Man.
Where was you going?
Is that Overton?
174 with Matty Overton there, isn't it?
good eyes on him, though. I mean, being able to see that coming at him, like right out of the side, like a sidewinder missile coming towards his drive. I don't believe he is. I think he's on triples, but even still, I mean, doesn't matter. As soon as he sees those lights.
It's a
Look
swap.
at this battle here. Look at this battle for the lead.
It's not a lead. It's a battle for the swap. Dan Kirby, Parker.
Oh, they got the. Oh, don't.
That's Alexander McQuarrie. He ain't stupid. He'll let him go through. There you go. Stephen Miller in the background. 4 seconds yellow in sector 3.
I don't think he is letting him have it. I mean, for as much as he was pushing through there.
Kirby's is slow. He did a 1:13 throughout this race. Barker on a 1:9, 1:10. This is literally going to take place. This is Barrichello, Schumacher, swap. It's going to be one more lap to go. Down the hill, coming out the final corner, they're going to swap. That's going to be my predicament. If it doesn't happen, I'll take the last race of the season off or something.
That doesn't sound like a punishment to me.
This is an interesting situation. I don't know that he was letting him just kind of catch up. I think he might have been fuel saving through some of this, or he was just. I'm not sure exactly what, but I mean, he would have let him have it at this point if it was going to be a swap.
They're going to swap. They will swap.
He spun it! Oh no!
Oh no!
Is that a producer's curse?
Parker's just spun it up. No, watch. He's still
gonna
coming
wait
up.
for him.
And you jumped
He's
in
gonna
my
wait
head.
for him.
Gee whiz, Batman. He's Parker's. Kirby's still going to go there. I think this is still going to go place through this last corner. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets swapped. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Kirby there. Over the line, through he goes. Dan Kirby takes the victory. I think that would have happened if Parker hadn't had that problem.
No, if it was, I disagree. I think if it was going to happen, it still would have happened. You know, if it was going to happen, it still could have happened. They had 40 seconds back to the third place car. So
yeah. Coming to the line takes the victory in that Hypercar. Alexander McQuarrie's back. He's finished. Now we've got JT Tammy going over the line as well. And Dan Kirby is the victor on that one, with Tammy, McQuarrie and Kirby taking the victory. I think that might have been different, Jim, if he hadn't had that issue.
But I mean, if they were going to do it, wouldn't they still have done it? Why? I mean, he was only a couple seconds back. I mean, if the order's in that you're going to do it for your teammate and all that, they would have still done it. He could have just slowed up. They had 40 seconds back to third place. There was no danger there. Well, it got bright all of a sudden. Look at there.
I will admit,
somebody turn the lights on.
The way that it was looking with that gap closing up, I said 50-50 because I kind of was on the same side as James there, because it didn't seem like a Kirby thing to do to let it up. But yeah, that was definitely a fight to the end.
Dan Kirby takes the victory in Barker second, Timon Sudik in third. Then you got Magnus Dahlgren, Robert Molin, John Huyan, Michael Locke, Gilles Lalonde and Jody Gutierrez. They've taken the victory down. That's the final table down in tonight for Gutierrez DNF'd, of course. In the Hypercar AMS, John Mayer with the win did come back through. Vinicius Calgaves in second. Jerry Chen and George Angelidis, massive in that Hypercar Championship. Be interested to see what that's like going into Bahrain. Monet DNF'd. Maximilian Petrovsky, well, that guy just had problems from the moment he got in the car right at the beginning. JT Tammy taking a win, wraps it up in the GT3s. David Junt in second. Ryan Paulbert Reyes in third. Matty Overton in fourth. He had enough dramas to last a lifetime. Alan Holden in fifth, and Vasilias Kataranakis DNF'd, with Elko Busink DNFing as well. That's that. McQuarrie wrapping up the championship is still in the GT3s. He's done and dusted, won it all. Adam Gray second. Stephen Miller didn't quite have the race he needed and unfortunately finished third. Jazz, they're not finishing the race at all. As you can see,
Jazz Jazz Whitfield had absolutely, or is it Whitfield? Whitefield.
Yeah.
Had absolutely the best opening race. People, you're going to remember that for a long time. He could have finished second. You'd never remember his name. But the way that car blew up tonight, and we all got to see that crazy clip, you're going to remember that forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was
absolutely.
awesome.
I think that will be the talking point of this. Let's start bringing the drivers in. I'm going to have a chat with Alexander McQuarrie in that GT3 AMS. Takes another victory, wraps up the championship, done and dusted. He doesn't even have to show up in Bahrain if he doesn't want to. Let's see if he's going to. Alexander, welcome in. Congratulations on the win and congratulations on the championship.
Hey, thank you so much, guys. This is probably my best race of the season, honestly. I fuel management, and I took a chance on my tire strategy. I only took left tires. I mean, it worked out. I'm very happy.
Yeah, well done to you, dear sir. Wrapped up the championship. Do you think you could manage yourself in the GT3 Pros?
I don't know yet. I mean, I can bust out some fast lap times, but I mean, the pros are so consistent. I mean, I'll probably hang back of the pack, but I don't know. I mean,
do you know, at one point you were sitting third overall in the GT3 field, right?
Honestly, I didn't know it. I was just in my own space. I wasn't even looking at the relatives or nothing. So, all right, third. I mean, third overall. I'll take it.
Well, I don't think you're going to be hanging around the back like you think you are, mate. I can tell you that much. Alex, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, buddy?
Of course, as always, my number one girlfriend, Lori. She allows me to do this stuff, and
Her number two.
I've been racing a lot, so she's been tolerant. So I really appreciate her.
Yeah, I'd like to point out as well. He did say number one. I'm not quite sure if there's others. You know what I mean? Is that
well, that came out kind of wrong, but I definitely didn't mean it like that. I meant one and only.
It's like that guy football interview, wasn't it? Where he goes, "I like to."
That was a fumble for sure. You made me nervous. That would have been the automatic retirement, early retirement in the summer racing.
And now Alexander's homeless, and we'll never get this opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, buddy.
Put my sim rig
with his sim rig under a bridge.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be a freaking troll sim rigging on the bridge.
Oh, dear sir. Alex, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thanks for getting me in trouble. I appreciate it. All right.
See you later. Bye.
All right, guys. Bye.
Oh, well, there you go. That was an interview and a half with Alexander McQuarrie. Let's bring in Mr. JT Tammy here in that GT3 Pros. JT, a victory, another step closer to the championship. Surely, come Bahrain, we're going to be announcing you as the GT3 Pro champion, aren't we?
I mean, I think I'm still going to have a good race at Bahrain, but hopefully.
Yeah, I think you will. I think I've got this that you're about 18, give or take about 18 points ahead. Now, don't quote me because that is a commentator doing maths, mate, and we never get it right. Okay, so don't quote me on that. Just wait for the standards to come out. Are you comfortable now? Are you more comfortable than you was going into this?
I mean, definitely. I really needed a good result here. It's a track I feel I have a very competitive edge at. But I mean, like last year, I had a brake pedal failure, so there wasn't a lot of comfort coming in, anyways. But getting a really good result today was crucial into going into Bahrain.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, I look forward to seeing how you get on in Bahrain. It does look like you've wrapped it up. You have wrapped up the team standings, by the way, as well.
Yes, yeah, I believe we did that. That was important.
Yeah, it was. Dark Thunder Racing taking the victory there. You, Matty, and is that James Walker?
James Walker, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, JT, well done, buddy, on your victory. Look forward to seeing how you get on Bahrain. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
The same people. You guys, the Storm Gang simulation team, CMS stewards, everyone who helps make these weekends possible. It lets us go racing and try to put on a good show. So thanks to everyone.
Well done, JT. Congratulations, bud. Look forward to seeing you in Bahrain.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a chat with John Mayer in the Hypercar AM win. Another man who's taken the championship. his race win was looking a little bit dodgy after contact there, but he managed to fight his way back and pass Concalves at the end and take the victory. John, well done, buddy. That was a very roller coaster race for you.
Yes, it was, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, mate, I would have loved being in a race like that as well. But then again, John, I'm never at the front. So, yeah, probably would never, ever be in a race like that.
Yeah, didn't know if I'd be there or not, but I got a good start and was able to hang in there, and I loved it. That was great.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a pure rocker on that one. Listen, you've taken the championship. Do you think you can hang with the pros?
Well, I'm going to have to. The only reason we're in the AMs, Jerry and I, is when they changed the stratification this year, we're actually gold drivers, so we won't qualify for AM next year.
Oh, John, are you going to tank it on purpose and stay in the AMs?
Oh, we can't.
It's too late for that.
Oh, John, gutted.
Yeah,
Too
Jerry
late,
and I are
such
we're going to be sucking up the back end here next year. So,
well, we've all got to be somewhere, haven't we? At the end of the day,
That's true.
To be really honest with you. But well done on your ERM championship, bud, on there, and well done to Akiri Mistral for taking the teams at the same time. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
well, yeah, actually, to George for putting us in this position that I could actually win a championship in the AM. If he had dumped us up into pros when they changed the stratification, I wouldn't have had a chance. So thanks, George. Appreciate it.
Fair play, John, on that one. John, take care, buddy, and we'll look to see catching up with you in Bahrain.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good week.
You actually
Bye.
have to be there, John, to be blatantly honest, if you don't want to.
Yeah, I'll show.
Oh, okay.
Please plan to anyhow.
Yeah, no, okay, mate. No worries. Take care, buddy, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next up is the Hypercar Pro Champion, Mr. Dan Kirby. We do have questions. One of the questions, firstly, Dan, congratulations on taking the Hypercar Pro Championship, mate.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on taking the CMS Championship for the teams.
Yeah, thank you.
Third question, was you going to let Cam Barker through to get the win to move him closer to Dan Herlock so you guys could get 1-2 in the championship?
That's a good question. I never even thought about that.
Really? Not
Well,
through
there's that.
race, Dan? You didn't think about that once?
Nope, we were just aiming to have a good race with each other. So
Dan, I'm disappointed. I literally mentioned during the broadcast how you were Mr. Considerate. You wouldn't have cared because you've already wrapped the championship up. You know how important it is for 1-2 for the teams. I was giving you all the props, Dan. You jumped in my interview booth and you tell me you didn't even think about it.
oh, geez,
I
sorry.
think he's pulling your leg right now.
Dan, you must have thought about it at some point.
Nope, it never crossed my mind.
Oh.
I just like to race.
Oh, well, that just kills the whole broadcast of the whole 2 hours I was talking about. Look,
Don't watch it back now. There's nothing to see.
It's going to be very anticlimactical for you, Mr. Kirby. Not going to lie. I literally blew smoke on your exit, and literally it didn't even come in your head. Well. There you go.
Well.
Neither did Cam Barker's in YouTube chat. He said neither did I, to be honest. So both of you are rubbish.
Who's your team manager? We need to talk
Where's your spotter or something? Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, that would have, Dan, if you had allowed Cam through, that would have put him 2 points away from Dan Herlock for second place in the championship. For you two to have a 1-2 in team, for having a 1-2 in the championship and 1 in the teams.
Yeah, we'll see next race if I guess Herlock stopped coming, so he might be able to overtake him in the championship for next race.
Is Herlock not coming back then?
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's missed like 4 races in a row now.
Ooh, we'll have to find out. But listen, Dan, how was it out there anyway? You did look. Do you know what? What made me suspicious, Dan, is the fact that at one point you did a 1:14, I think it was, and Cam did a 1:11. And at that moment, that's when I decided that you were slowing down to let him go through. What happened in the race then? Because your times went up and down faster than a busy elevator. You know what I mean? What was going on, Dan?
I just had the absolute worst luck in traffic ever there was like 5 laps in a row. I lost like 2 or 3 seconds in the S's each lap behind GTs. It was just the worst luck ever. Every time I like opened up a 7-second gap, or I had like a 13-14 second gap, it just like washed away in a handful of laps just because of traffic.
I'm gutted, mate. I'm gutted. I thought you guys were going to pull a Schumacher Barrichello swap over on the final corner going down the hill, but nothing exciting happened there at all. But Dan, well done on your championship. Congratulations on the race win. We'll see you in Bahrain. Anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, everyone here at CMS and my teammate Cameron for the awesome racing and great championship year. It was super tight and fun all year long.
Yeah, well done to you, dear sir, as well. Unlucky, Cam. No problem. Maybe he'll let you through next time. Team orders, papaya rules. Think about the championship. Anyway, Dan, catch up soon, bud.
Alrighty, see you guys.
I am literally gutted, Ross and Jim, that he had not thought about that throughout the whole race.
He's just a racer. You can't. If he can take a win, he will take it.
I'm astounded. Jim?
I mean, to be honest, I'm shocked that neither one of them thought of that. It doesn't surprise me necessarily that they didn't do it, but the fact that it never even occurred to anyone on that team to do that so that they could take 1-2 potentially take 1-2 in the championship. Yeah, that's kind of surprising, but I mean, fair play to them. They were just out there doing their thing, racing,
Yeah, absolutely. Right, guys, that's going to wrap us up. You can see us on your calendar. We'll be back for the 2 hours of Bahrain on the 15th of November. Join us then as we look forward to the final race of the season. Championship's already done here as well. Let's not forget, but we'll see whether or not that Hypercar Am one is going to be finished off. Much love to everybody. I've been JP. I've been alongside Jim Cunningham, Ross Smith, and Paul Glover in the booth. So for now, and as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you in a track sometime. Good night.